What is up, everybody? It's your boy, the Liberal Loudmouth. And we are back again with some more Accionis. Let me adjust this monitor here, actually. That's too damn. I don't want to have to look up the whole time. I hurt my fucking neck. There we go. I'll have to fix it later. Fuck it. Fuck it, we'll do it live. Let me turn my light on here real quick. I forgot to do that. Yeah. There we go. That's a little better. What's going on, y'all? We're just getting started, so come on in. Come on in, make yourselves comfortable. We will get started here shortly with the show. Let's see. Let me go in and share my shit out. All right. Let's turn this down. Look for myself. Come on in, y'all. Come on in. What is up? Liberal Loudmouth. There we are. All right. I'm going to come in and share. We are live. Booyah. Okay. Good morning, Bunny. Good morning. Good morning. I am a little late. My apologies. I was getting shit set up. I forgot to create a new background, which is weird. I don't remember. I had to adjust a whole bunch of shit here. I'm going to have to figure this out. I may make the text over here smaller so I can fit it in better, but I'll deal with that tomorrow. What's up, Jesse? The Bunny. That's right. Can you guys hear me okay? Because I did turn my stuff down a little bit so it didn't pick up so much background noise. But you guys hearing me okay? I assume you are, but okay, cool. And let's get started. Yeah, I don't like the position of this monitor here. There we go. Bring that down. Damn, that's like really fucking... There we go. That might be better. There we go. All right. Davina, welcome in, welcome in. Follow 168. So now they show interaction hints on the live studio, which is pretty sweet. So it'll tell me if somebody hasn't followed me, how long they followed me for, has its own little neat little section here in the chat. Pretty neat. Thank you for sharing the live out, Jesse. So once you come in, just start tapping. Let's get to 10K as quick as we can, and we'll get started here shortly. I mean, you guys are welcome to come up if you'd like to join the panel. I mean, everything's, it's the same old shit. Donald Trump is still fucking president. We're still having to deal with the crazy fucker. Although this morning somebody came out of a meeting and was like, yeah, it's time to 25th Amendment this piece of shit. Who was that? I think I sent that. I think I put that message in a private chat. One second. Let me see. Yeah, right here. Huffington Post posted it. Let me pull this up here. Read this real quick. Real quick, like. I don't remember who it was. It was a Democrat, though. I mean, so it's not like it's going to, shock your socks off. U.S. Senator comes out and says it's about Trump invoke the 25th Amendment. Senator Ed Markey from Massachusetts is calling on President Donald Trump's cabinet and Vice President J.D. Vance to remove him from office via the 25th Amendment over his latest threat to Greenland. I mean, this guy is like double, tripling down on this shit. It's nuts. I mean, I was on Truth Social this morning. This guy is sharing tweets with like Emmanuel Macron about, good Lord Almighty, this man won't stop. Holy shit. He just keeps tweeting or truthing or whatever the fuck you call it. Anyway, let me pull this up here. Yesterday this didn't work. Let's hope this works. Is this changing? Yeah, see, I'm changing in OBS, but it's not changing. I don't know why. Let's see if I have to do a scene transition. I don't. Let me pull up studio mode. That don't make any sense. Transition. Yeah, it's not changing it on TikTok. I don't get it. When I change something on my OBS, it's not changing on TikTok. Oh, shit. Oops, wrong button. I almost ended the stream. All right, well, I'll go back here. I can just do it this way. Let's do it this way. Right here's this dumbass. From President Macron to President Trump, my friend, we're totally in line in Syria. We can do great things in Iran. I don't understand what you're doing in Greenland. Let's try to build great things. So I don't even think he like responded to it at all. He just goes and posts it on Truth Social. Like this guy, he's lost his fucking mind, Donald Trump. And I don't know. We got Flick. I feel like I remember this name. There is another video, though, that I want to play that just really fucking irritated the shit out of me. Let me pull that up. And Flick, before I bring you in, let me play this video because maybe it'll irritate you or make you happy. I don't know. Where's it? Oh, damn it. Did I not? Yeah, here it is. Okay. Let me pull it up here. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with my OBS and why it's not flipping that over. That's weird. Nonetheless, here we go.
Do not talk to them!
My name is Charlie Scott Tao. I'm 56 years now, so the point they got to me and my daughter-in-law, and then they told me to come out here without my clothes on. I wear short only, and then they just handcuffed me right there. And then when they took me out there, my grandson was picking on the window.
So your grandson watched everything?
Yeah, my grandson watched everything. After they took me, he was crying, looking for me. They just took me out there without any clothes on, unless only the blanket. Only my grandson's blanket covered me, take me out there to the car. They didn't say anything that was wrong. And then suddenly, they tried to take a photo of me, but I didn't want to, right? And then they drove me all the way to Minneapolis, I don't know where, and we stopped middle of nowhere. So my son grabbed my ID, showing to them. They just said, okay, you're good. So they freed me. Yeah. And they didn't say anything. They didn't say sorry or anything. They just, okay, you're good.
So they snatched this guy up who, it turns out, I believe, is U.S. citizen. They snatch this dude up and take him somewhere else to another city, I guess. And then they just want his picture. Like I've said before, this isn't about immigration. This is about building a database for Palantir and shit. But then they just let the guy go. They wouldn't ask for identification. Like you're just going into somebody's house, abducting them from their fucking house. And then they're, oh, okay, well, I'm sure they got their picture. And so by that time, they're like, well, does it matter if we let him go or arrest him? Fucking wild, y'all. Anyway, Flick, what's up, man? What brought you up?
What's up? I mean, I saw on your live, or at least on your prompt, poking and prodding the globe, Trump ensures Chinese victory. And I don't disagree, but I think if anything, that would be a good thing for the world. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, you may be right, Flick. You may be right. I mean, it's, but it's, because we could do good things for the world without all of that and without destroying ourselves, because they will be destroyed in the process, essentially. But yeah, I mean, you may be right. I think that's a fair point.
I think the issue is America has long been the world's bully. Obviously, China has been growing as a competitor to the U.S. even before Trump. But yeah, Trump's, I think, brazen imperialism is even more so exposing how, what's it called, hostile America has been. It's like the taken to the 11, turned up to 11, I guess I should say, Donald Trump compared to previous U.S. presidents. But I was also going to say the thing that the Frozen Water Agency is doing. It's messed up, man. It's
Frozen
messed up.
Water Agency. I like that. Yeah, you're right, because like the U.S. has done this for a long time now, right? Donald Trump is just not trying to hide it. They used to pretend like it was about, oh, we're spreading democracy or we're combating communism. They don't even do that anymore. And so that may be the best thing. The silver lining here is that Donald Trump is just telling the world what we've been doing, you know. And so in that, I guess it's a good thing because you get exposure. But at the same time, I mean, it's a horror to sit and watch. I also agree with your assessment on ICE. Like this shit, and you know they're about to fund it again. I think they get $10 billion total after that big bullshit bill was what, $100 billion over 10 years or something like that. And I think they even increased its funding by a couple of $100 million this time. So
that's insane.
And it's bipartisan. So it's, you know, like this left versus right shit, man, it's got to stop. You know, both parties are like, if they can get their bag too, they're like, well, you know, I'll accept a little fuckery in exchange for, you know, insert whatever here. Oh shit, I already met my gifting goal. Thank you to Jussie and Dreams Can Come True for those ice cream cones. Wow, that's a lot of ice cream cones, Jussie. Thank you. Yeah, it's pretty wild. Now, I do want to play this other video, which I think tells the greatest story probably ever that we've ever seen. So give me a moment. Let me put that up here for you guys to see. It's a very short clip, but really it tells a marvelous story.
No. No.
I'm sorry. I saw that video. I couldn't stop laughing. As someone who's had kids, like I could just see the baby doing that. That's funny. That's Donald Trump in a nutshell. I love Canada. Welcome in, man. Did
buddy.
you want to weigh in? Doing
I'm just
all right.
curious. Was it because I'm Canadian? Was Columbus? Did he find America? Was
No.
Oh,
No.
who found America?
Well, the indigenous people had been here for thousands of
Correct.
years. So nobody
who claimed
found
it, though?
America.
Nobody found it, but the people that did find it, did they come in a 747?
I mean, no. I feel
No,
like
right? They came in on a boat. The comment that Trump made about Greenland, saying, "Well, you know, Denmark can't, you know, think that because they found it in a boat that it's, you know, somehow theirs." I just, what comes out of that man's mouth just makes me howl some days. I'll tell you that.
or like Stephen Miller saying, you know, if you can't defend your country, then you know you have no right to it. And then somebody rightly said this is the mentality of a rapist.
Yeah.
If you can't defend yourself, ladies, I get some of that. These people are sick.
Yeah, they are. There's just no doubt about it
I mean,
anymore.
what really makes Trump different from Putin? You know, Putin invaded Ukraine, justified it by saying, "Oh, it's our national security, NATO, blah 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 blah." The thing that makes Trump's invasion or potential invasion or annexation or whatever of Greenland even more dangerous is that Greenland is already part of NATO, right? Because it's part of Denmark, which just makes it even crazier because there's no need to hold Greenland. Greenland is already a military ally of the United States, like the highest military ally of the United States. If Russia or China
Right.
or whoever
Correct.
were to attack Greenland, America would defend it anyways.
Well, that's correct.
Yeah,
And
well,
I mean,
it's. I wonder
and so
if
would
it's
Europe.
like
and so
purely
would-
about ego, because he wants to do a deal. He'll go down in history as somebody who brought in Greenland to the United States. Maybe it's as simple as that. You know,
Maybe. It's all about his own
legacy.
mind, his own ego.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know that that's true, but because these
Well,
people
I can see it.
Yeah, I mean, because they wrote it in Project 2025, so it's not just Trump that wants it. He's doing this on behalf of other people who want it for economic reasons. Because they're opening up the Arctic Circle, which, for the record, is due to climate change and global warming. This is not something that we've normally been able to do, and they're like, "Oh yeah, let's get at it. Let's get all that stuff that we haven't had access to before." Instead of addressing the problems that caused the thing, the lanes to open up in the first place, they're just like, let's get our shit. It's crazy.
I mean, Trump's whole thing is his cult of personality. So yeah, it wouldn't shock me if he did this. Say, hey, look, I'm the guy who bought Greenland. In fact, it's funny. I saw the new recent renderings of the stadium that they're going to be rebuilding for the Washington Commanders in DC. I wouldn't be surprised if Trump tries to pressure them into naming it like Trump Stadium or something.
Yeah, what is it with the naming shit? This dude,
That's all he wants. He wants his name on everything.
He's his own biggest fan. Yeah. He's his own biggest fan.
It has to have that Trump on the top of the whatever, right? It doesn't matter. It's got to say Trump.
It's fucking nuts.
Small dick syndrome, buddy. That's what it is.
Sorry about your dick, bro. I mean, really.
The whole thing with the Nobel Peace Prize is the funniest thing. First, FIFA making up that award just for him, and then Machado gifting her Nobel Peace Prize just so Donald Trump could feel less insecure or whatever.
But Flick, now the right thinks, the right now thinks that he has won a Nobel Peace Prize. You should hear some of them.
It's
That's
nuts.
so crazy.
Yeah.
It's absolutely insane. And I mean, Jen is one of them. You know who I'm talking about. She's on there proud and smiling. It's disgusting.
Here's the thing that I think
Welcome
is going
in,
on with
Positivity. Good to see ya.
Oh, thanks. Here's the thing I think is going on with Greenland. And it's far more nefarious than we imagine. I think that because the Russian naval bases come from there and have to go through there, and because it's owned by another country, not the United States right now, it is monitored by NATO, what their activity is. And if Trump takes over Greenland, that monitoring and informing of the NATO alliance and the UN stops. They're not going to tell them what Russia's doing with their warships. And so I think that it's crucial that it remain in the hands of the other country right now and in NATO, because Trump will give Russia just leash to do whatever they want to the world. And they're sadistic bastards.
There's some, I don't know how confirmed it's been, but there's been some reporting that Trump might have made a deal with Putin that would essentially be like, let me get Venezuela and you can essentially have Ukraine. And if that's the case, again, we're in for a dark era of global politics where countries feel like they could just invade whoever, just like it's like what you guys are bringing up that Stephen Miller said. If you can't defend your country, then it's ours. It's just the most blatant 19th century style imperialism.
That's all it is. I mean, at this point, there's no arguing against it, and they're not even trying now. They're like, essentially might makes right. I've had people come up on this panel and say that shit. Like, that's the law of the jungle.
Yeah, it's really, if they keep declaring that we no longer live in a land where the law is the law, then we've really got to consider our, pretty pacifist side. Because with Athens and Sparta was is right. And Athens was the democracy and the literacy and the education and all of that. And they lost. And we cannot afford to lose this fight.
No, I mean, you're right, because we're coming to, a pew fight with pens, you're going to have to at some point fight back, because like they're going into houses of U.S. citizens, arresting them. I assume scanning their face and be like, oh, you're a citizen. Well, like that is a level of tyranny that, that we haven't seen in a while.
And
a man out in the middle of winter in a blanket.
Yeah. And what's scary to me is that, like, we always reference 1930s Germany and we say, oh, they're copying the pattern. But the really scary part is that they can learn from the mistakes that were made that took down the empire too. And they can try and avoid those mistakes. And to me, that's scary. Like, we all say we can learn from history. Well, you can learn what not to do to end your reign of terror too. And I'm afraid that they've done that. Like get everybody compromised in positions of power in the government. Make sure that there's no uncompromised people on your anything. I really think that the Republican Party needs to be removed from power entirely.
Yeah, I mean, that was a mistake we made after the Civil War, was allowing them to just go on and live their lives and get the 40 acres and a mule that were promised to everybody else. The reaction to this has to be much different and much harsher. I want to play this clip because I think this guy speaks for a lot of people. I don't know if a lot of people are here yet, but this guy, says what a lot of people want to say.
Agent ever run up on me, I guarantee you they won't. I'll put a hole in their chest the size of a window. Safe line repair, safe line replace. That's what's going to happen. They touch me. Unarmed woman was killed by ICE. If you think you're about to come and brutalize the people while we're standing here, fuck around and find out. Our interactions with the police and ICE, and we hold them accountable. We patrol the community and we hold them accountable. The Black Panther Party for Self-Defense, we're the same Panther Party from back in the day, but we're a little more aggressive now, you dig?
Is this where we all have to go? Or do you think it's inevitable that we go there, or are we not there yet? What do you guys think?
Holy cow.
I think they're forcing us into a corner with no choice.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I think they want that because it'll give him an excuse to send in the military so he can play G.I. Joe. Despite being a fucking, despite being a coward his entire life. There's, that clip is another minute long, but it's, you get the gist of it. Because what the fuck are you supposed to do? Like they'll say power to the Iranian people who are overthrowing their government, right? Even our own government's like, yeah, to the Iranian people, and then criticize the government for firing on them. But what the hell do you think the U.S. government would do the moment the people try to start taking over? The U.S. government would start shooting you too. The U.S. military would start shooting at you. And if you don't think so, maybe you haven't been in this country long enough.
I think the most important thing that can happen is happening today, which is we're supposed to not buy anything, not participate in commerce, not drive our cars, not do anything today. I think that we need to do that as often as we need to do it, not go to our jobs, not anything, because we honestly have got to show them that we are not going to participate in this government that is going against the American people. Like, I like presidents that don't, target cities and target individuals and target groups of people. Like, we shouldn't have a president of the United States who is doing that.
Never. He's supposed to be for all. That's why he didn't put his hand on the Bible, right? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but he didn't. Trump didn't put his hand on the Bible.
He did not. And I wonder why. Day one, that should have been,
yeah.
Right?
It should have been, if you're not going to take the oath of office the way it needs to be taken, you should not be taking it. You should not be given it.
He
took the oath
probably
for his side.
he probably put his hand on Mein Kampf. That's probably what
He put his hand on his own dick, is what he did.
You mean his pinky? Because that's all it would be able to, cover
He
it.
put his hand on his own shit-covered dick. That's what he did.
Oh. What the fuck?
It
Flick.
really is crazy that MAGA thought that the billionaire Epstein friend, like presidential candidate, was somehow going to drain the swamp. Like, he is the swamp. He's the literal embodiment, the billionaire Epstein friend president. He's like the thing that needs to be drained.
Yeah. Yeah, and like he is empowering people like this. Let me play this clip. This is like weird shit, y'all. Like, what fuck, where are we at? This is the Twilight Zone. I mean,
Truth man! Truth man! They don't understand the things I say on Twitter. They don't understand the things I say on Twitter. All my niggas Nazis, nigga, how
like, what the fuck has this country turned into?
Even the Yahtzees, I mean,
Imagine.
look how diverse they are.
Look, I mean, I guess that's interesting. Jesus. Yeah, because I think Andrew Tate's in the back in the pink. And that Andrew Tate in the back, and then you got fucking Nick Fuentes across from me. This is disgusting to me. But hasn't America really kind of always been this way?
It's always been a part in America. It never died out. And like you said, host, I mean, it really should have, all the way back with the Civil War, they should have executed all of them slave owners. That's really what it should have been. But since that aspect, that segment of American society has been allowed to exist, the ideology, I mean, people say America first, people say make America great again. I mean, I think America first itself goes back to the Klan as a phrase. So like that's like
Homeland. Yeah, Homeland goes back to Hitler too. That language that was brought to us by George Bush.
It's the white people that have been suppressed, according to the DOJ and Trump, and they got to go back and look after the white people. Isn't that what's going to happen? Yeah.
Let me. Matter of fact, I'm gonna play this clip. I hadn't actually planned on playing it, but because you said that, this is very timely.
Why do you think
this? I actually did a video response to this guy. He's been up on my panel before, Nathan Remillard. Listen,
I think it's so hard for us as white people to come out and say, "Hey, we want to protect our culture because we do have culture, and we're being displaced and we're afraid of the future." So, like, why is it so hard for us to say that openly?
Yeah, I mean, it's like you could any other race can say it, right? But the second white people say it, it's you're a Nazi, you're a fascist, white supremacist, and it's just because of who's running everything. I mean, they want white people to hate themselves, and you're not even allowed to say anti-white racism. They don't allow us to act like that's a real thing, even though a lot of the times that is the most prevalent type of racism.
Like, what the fuck?
But it's really an injustice that we're not allowed to talk about it. And I just think we need more people too, and more people to be unashamed of talking about it.
This is absolutely like gross to me. The most prevalent form of racism is anti-white.
Merely the existence of non-white groups in large numbers is itself anti-white racism. Are these people engaging in any systemic harm against white people? No. Are they exploiting white people? No. But just their existence is a threat to white people, which is just key core to the racial ideology.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Are they
dog
pulling over
whistle
white
that
people
goes.
who have done nothing?
It's a dog whistle that goes to, we must maintain dominance because to them equality is lost because they've always had everything. And when you have to be equal among, people of all nations, that's a loss to them and they don't like it. And it's weird. And now they've like created this fucking whole white culture thing. What the fuck is white culture? Like, that's not even a thing, y'all. It's not a thing. Because, like, you have countries from Europe that are white, like Italy, France, England. I mean, take your pick. They all have different cultures, but collectively, is that white culture? Of course not. It's crazy.
I mean, the only culture that could be considered white culture in the United States is the thing that was used to unify different groups of like Europeans, which is racism. So that's probably what they're alluding to. Like when they say white culture, they mean white supremacy because that's the one thing that all the different groups of white people have, at least on some level, benefited from or participated in culturally.
I mean, that's right. And then they wonder, well, why don't people like it when we say these things? Well, I don't know. Maybe they just don't want to be dominated and controlled by anybody, let alone white people. Again, I don't know. Maybe it's that Neanderthal DNA coming out. I'd like to know the percentages of the Neanderthal DNA. Because is that what drives some of this, psychopathy? I don't get it. I really don't get it. But, screaming victimhood is wild to hear that coming out of the mouths of like white people who have money. Also, like, you guys aren't oppressed.
Imagine, I mean, Trump is a victim, right? His kids, those I've never sucked on anything but my soother. Trump children, you know what I mean? They're suppressed. Come on, I mean, look at them. Give me a break. What a sad world we live in.
Those poor white people.
Oh, they've been,
How
many white people have been pulled over in a white neighborhood by police officers questioning them what they're doing there? Let me guess.
Right. Yeah, I offered, because that guy's name on TikTok is Yankee News. I offered him to come back up here because he hadn't been up on the panel in a while, but he used to come on here and he would turn his camera on. I tell you what, it would trigger everybody on the panel, though. It was kind of funny. Just him having his camera on with like his MAGA hat, like liberals on the panel would lose their fucking minds. It was kind of funny, but no, I mean this notion that white people they're making us feel bad. It's like, no, you're making yourselves feel bad because apparently you still want to do what the old whites did. And if you feel bad about that, that's that says something about you.
I mean, a lot of them, not a lot of them, but some of them I've seen on TikTok having lives regarding let's bring back segregation. They're damn serious.
Yeah, hell, they got communities now. Yeah,
I know.
They're building, those like whites only communities.
But Tim, it's not just America. This is now happening in Canada, where I am. We have our little separatist group in Alberta now, and that's what I call it. I mean, this is what's happening in Canada. And when you look at that separatist group, and there's one thing that really, really is obvious, is that they're all white. You know what I mean? And they do not like the South Asian community in our country. They can't stand it, and they don't want to come out and say that, but that's exactly what this is about in Canada. And we're just as goddamn racist here as anywhere else now. It's disgusting, to be honest.
Yeah,
that's why I love Canada I love Canada because we are a diverse country. We have always been a diverse country, and like move on, and they can't, and that's sad, in my opinion. So
Yeah, I mean, to the people that are so concerned about, their country being white still, go to Europe. Go back to Europe.
Yep.
If that's really what you want, go back to Europe, because then your likelihood of getting skin cancer is going to go down. I mean,
True that.
like, I don't know. It blows me away, but this is where we're at. And then, at the same time, this actually kind of blows me away. So 3 years ago, this is somewhat unrelated, but I wanted to bring up the Israeli license plate. Did you see that in Florida with the fucking Star of David shit? Yeah. So a few years ago, though, Florida brings out this specialized license plate. It says, "Don't tread on me." Yet,
yes,
the same motherfuckers are now begging to be treaded on. They're like, "Oh, please tread on me." With ICE agents, just comply. You've got to comply, and if you don't comply, then they can shoot you in the face. Wow.
Now let's reverse it. Let's say this is Biden running the country, and they're telling all these MAGA people that. Could you imagine? Holy cow!
Right.
I mean, it's obvious what Trump is doing. He's going after nothing but blue states, and that must piss you guys off some, because it's clear what he's trying to do, and that's why MAGA loves it.
Oh yeah,
they love this shit.
It's all about, winning or whatever the fuck. I mean, I don't get it. Their need to like win. I don't even know what that means, because like to them winning is also losing, because they're
you look at what the border, what's happening now when you come into the United States, they want to take your picture, they want to know 5 years of your life, they want to know all this kind of stuff, and I'm like, wait a minute, and in what, this year the World Cup is happening both in Canada and the United States, and you think people are going to just
cancel
be like,
that shit?
They have to, dude. And what about the Olympics?
They got to cancel all that shit. The United States shouldn't be hosting that.
Not even allowed in your country right now. Nobody from Brazil's allowed to come. Well, Brazil is a huge part of the Olympics. What are you talking about? And you're like, okay. It's not fair to the athletes and so on. Their families that want to come and watch them, they're not going to come, Tim.
But see, Trump is so stupid. He hears Brazil and he's like, "Oh, they're just nuts." That's why they're not allowed over here, because they're just nuts. Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. Wait. Damn it! I don't have my key. Where's it at? Right here. I need to set my hotkey. He's like, he heard Brazil nuts once, and he's like, we can't let those people over here. Those people are nuts. Lonnie, welcome in. Welcome back.
Hey.
You want to jump in on this?
Yeah, well, I want to say that the last I heard, it was like 32,000 people canceled their tickets to FIFA in the United States. Because
how many?
32,000 people canceled their tickets.
Wow.
As well they should.
Like, because he put a ban on, majority of those countries. You know what I mean? So, those people were like, and then obviously what happened with Renee Good, you know what I mean? Like, and what happened at the Hyundai plant in Georgia, they're just like, yeah, no, we don't trust the American government right now. We're not going over there. So I don't know why they just didn't cancel it yet, but I guess they're holding out hope.
Well, if they start rounding people up, I mean, do you think that Trump is that stupid to just start arresting tourists?
Well, yeah, I think they are. I think that they are already racially profiling people as it is. I think you played the video where the Latin speaking dude was trying to arrest the Latin speaking dude and was like, because of your accent. It was like, wait a minute, you got an accent.
You got an
too, buddy.
accent too. I saw that. Was that you that shared that video? Oh, then let me see if I can't find that. Like,
travel across.
Oh my
You're
god!
like, hang on a second.
That was the funniest shit. I don't remember which video it was. It was shared in the group, wasn't it?
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
it was.
awesome.
It
Okay,
was.
let me see if I
But that's
can't
the
find
thing,
it.
We can
like,
laugh at it, I guess, but
even with the Hyundai plant, like those people were engineers. Like they were setting things up for us to have jobs
that's
and run that
correct.
plant. And he sent them ICE agents to detain all them people. And everybody around the world saw it. So I don't blame them at all for being like, we can't trust him. And then so yeah, they're canceling their tickets, you know, and
So there are Canadians that have gone over, like always. Like I live just outside of Buffalo, so you know when you go down south. I'm going to a hockey game at the end of the month when Montreal is there, and so on and so forth. And Canadians go down, or were going down every day, and now because of what they have found on their social media accounts, there are Canadians that have been banned 5 years from traveling to the United States because of what they said about Donald Trump.
Shit,
And
do
if you
me a
don't think
favor
that's
is what
the
I'd
money-
say. That way I don't. If I can't go, I'm not gonna go. Thank fuck.
Yeah.
God, why would you want to come here anymore? I just, unless you have family, then that's the only, real downside.
And I mean, I have a brother in Phoenix. I got a sister in Oklahoma.
Yeah,
'cause
see,
my
that
father
sucks.
married, you know what I mean? And I talk to him all the time, but it's not the same as going down to Phoenix in the winter when you're from here, and I got a place to go. He just don't want to go, right?
well, yeah, it's the fact that
Crazy.
you're driving down the road, minding your business, going wherever you were going, work, supermarket, friend's house,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
street blocked off, and you turn the corner, and now you're stuck. And the next thing you know, there's a flashbang or some nerve agent being tossed under your vehicle.
Fucking
but
crazy. You heard about
that's
that
not
kid?
happening, though.
You heard about
Yeah,
that?
Chrissy
Christine
the
says
baby
that's
got
not
murdered.
happening, right?
Yeah.
She blamed the protesters for that
Yeah.
happening. She's like, well,
But
if
she
they weren't
said
out there
that
protesting,
because the
it
court
wouldn't
came
happen.
out and said you can't use some kind of a chemical weapon or whatever they're calling it.
Yeah, let me pull this video up here. I think this is the one after car hit with two gas buys. Yeah, this is it. And then I'm gonna play that fucking Stephen Miller clip. This shit's crazy, y'all.
Documents from the fire department show what emergency workers saw and faced when responding to the shooting last week that left a woman dead. And in another violent clash over immigration operations there, an infant was sent to the hospital. ABC's Olivia Rubin with the latest.
Despite calls from local leaders for peace and to turn down the temperature, clashes between protesters and federal officers not letting up in Minnesota.
Look at that shit.
Federal agents deploying tear gas on crowds, urging them to leave.
Okay, get to the main meat and potatoes, lady.
A baby hospitalized after a family's car was hit with tear gas, according to the Minneapolis Office of Community Safety. The agency saying the 6-month-old had difficulty breathing.
The ICE agents came forward and they were lined up with their mace.
The Jackson family says they were driving home from their son's basketball game. The gas grenades setting off the airbags in the car, trapping them
God.
inside. Bystanders opening the doors. That's when the family says the baby wasn't breathing.
Having to get my baby mouth to mouth and people pouring milk all over my other kids. I thought I was dying, honestly. And the way I felt, I could imagine how my kids felt because I'm a full-blown.
These worthless motherfuckers, man. I swear to God. I can't play the whole thing because TikTok will fucking ding me for it. But I also wanted to play this fucking clip of this Joseph Goebbels fucking lookalike piece of shit. Stephen Miller. Here we go. I fucking hate this guy. Let me turn this shit up here. Oh, it's already up. Okay. Oh, what the fuck? Why is this muted? What? Son of a... All right, let me go back. Here we go.
Denmark is a tiny country with a tiny economy and a tiny military. They cannot defend Greenland. They cannot control the territory of Greenland. Under every understanding of law that has existed about territorial control for 500 years, to control a territory, you have to be able to defend a territory, improve a territory, inhabit a territory.
Like, what the fuck?
Denmark has failed on every single one of these tests.
I hope he's kept away from young women, because that's the mentality of a rapist.
That's right.
You can't defend yourself, so I'm going to take you. That's basically what he's saying. And it is
That's right. They're just making this shit up as they go along, guys. That's never been a fucking thing. Like, if you can't defend
like
it.
you said, 500 years, Tim. What's happened in 500 years? Nothing. What a bonehead. Oh, I
want
hate
to say
that
this to Jules. Yes, it rolled under the vehicle. It shook the whole vehicle. The airbags deployed and the doors locked on that vehicle. And like she said, bystanders had to pull her and her husband, her children out. She did an in-depth interview also where she said that like they turned the corner and the street was blocked. So she told her husband to pull over and get out of the way because of what happened to Renee Good. They didn't want it to happen to them. And so when they let off whatever they let off, it rolled under their vehicle and exploded under their vehicle. And I think it happened a couple of days after Renee Good, and that's why they pulled over and got out of the way. But yeah, she said she barely had her own breath, and she was trying to give her infant CPR, and they took them to the hospital. Her, the baby, and two of her other children.
And I mean, imagine the bang that would set off the alarm, the airbags like that. Imagine it, and all those little kids inside that vehicle.
Too. Yeah, so they couldn't even get out. They had the bystanders, I think, busted windows out to get them out of the vehicle.
That's fucking disgusting that we like are doing shit like this to people. And for some reason, I can't pull up my thing to change my gifting goal. I don't know what's going on. Fucking TikTok's acting
That was
weird.
a family of 6 white. What would have happened? Nothing, right?
Right. Well, that's Christy Nome. She said, well, if the protesters wouldn't have been in the way, that would have never happened to them. Like, y'all blocked the street. Like, these ICE agents are blocking traffic. Like, there was another video where they blocked traffic and chased a lady from a bus stop.
Well, they just come up with excuses, Lonnie, right? That's all they're doing.
Yeah, that's all they're
When you
doing.
pew a woman in the face 3 times and continue to defend it, continue every day, they defend that like it's like no tomorrow. Where it makes no sense to me, but that's what they do.
Well, at some point it's going to be, they're going to be dealing with people like what that guy was talking about, that Black Panther guy. And really, because since birth, really, we've been told that, when the government starts fucking with you, you overthrow the shit. That's how we've, been taught. So, yeah, maybe they deserve it.
And I mean, like, your country has, a lot of people with pew-pews. So, yeah, absolutely. And
APAC.
now you can't blame them.
Yeah, APAC, welcome in. Thank you for the 35 donuts. And now I'm sitting here trying to fucking get the gifting thing to come back up. I finally got it, though. But I appreciate that. Thank you. Did you want to jump in there and bitch about something?
Well, I wasn't sure if you got to talking about the church.
Oh, them going into the church. I was going to get to that. Yeah, eventually. When they look, that was totally unnecessary. They should have just stayed outside. Them busting into the church like that. I didn't really care for that too much.
The DOJ is trying to charge Don Lemon with the KKK Act, right?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, it's now. Did Don Lemon go into the church? I thought he was outside.
No, he
apparently
followed
went in.
there was a black lady whose organization it was that
Right.
went in, and while he was watching them go in, he followed them in using his press pass, because he's a journalist. So he went in and was asking questions to everybody, the people that was part of this organization, and also the people in the church themselves. And he spoke to the pastor that was standing up there, which wasn't the pastor who they allege is the head of the Minneapolis ICE, because that's the reason they went in there, was because the pastor is allegedly the head of the Minneapolis ICE.
Right.
And so they went in there like, how could you be such a hypocrite, and do the things that you're doing? But I guess he wasn't there that day. So Don Lemon talked to the pastor that was there that day, congregation members, and the people that were a part of this group, getting everybody's side of the story. So yeah, he followed them in. But the fact that the DOJ is trying to charge him with the KKK
Meantime,
is wild.
Yeah, it is pretty wild. Here, let me play a little clip of that in case you guys haven't seen it. I hadn't actually downloaded it, but I had planned to talk about it. Where's my fucking thing at? There we go.
Minnesota, a protest over the federal immigration crackdown turned into a tense confrontation there. Demonstrators following federal agents into a church. Now the Justice Department says they will investigate. ABC's Nicole D'Antonio has more.
Good morning.
Oh,
the Justice Department says it's investigating after video posted online by Black Lives Matter shows protesters entering that church in St. Paul, where they say one of the pastors is a local ICE official. Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche says the protest interrupting a church service is a potential violation of the FACE Act.
The FACE Act was passed to stop this exact type of conduct. You are not allowed to stop people from worshiping, and you're not allowed to intimidate or impede them. And so the individuals that went in there and did that, and you could tell that they had a plan, you could tell that they had an agenda, and you cannot do that in this country.
Also from Minnesota, the family of this man removed from his house and detained by ICE wearing just his underwear is disputing claims that he was living with two sex offenders. The family also...
See, they just make shit up. But look,
Sure.
you can't do that. You can't go into a fucking church like that. Just that's...
And I agree.
I mean, come on, y'all.
However, hold on now. Let's go back to January in 2021, and what people did. They got into a building to stop what? They did what? And they've all been they all got charged, and then of course Trump pardoned them all. So I don't condone this kind of behavior because it sucked then, it sucked now. But this is the hypocrisy, sorry, trying to say that word, that's going on in between the left and the right. It's insane, right?
Yeah, I mean, it is hypocrisy, but we expect nothing more from them than that. Right. I expect it from them, like it. They do it all the time with shamelessly. But AIPAC, you're the one that brought it up. Do you want to offer your thoughts on it? I'd love to hear what you think.
Yeah, so it's...
I'll be right back, but I can hear you, buddy.
No. So, was it illegal? Yes. But it's interesting. I think that from a moral aspect, and this might surprise you, host, but morally, I would have found it justifiable, even though legally wrong, because if that guy that I guess was supported ICE, and let's just say that they condoned what happened to Renee Good, was behind the pulpit, in that position, preaching, then I would have preferred that this group would have set the cameras on that particular person as opposed to surveilling the congregation. I think that's where you go way too far, because people are there, to worship. It's a moment of vulnerability. It's a moment of, you're there with your family. But if they truly believed that, hey, we're going to put someone's, hold them to account, and that person wasn't there, or even if that person was there, the focus of the cameras and surveillance should have been on the pastor themselves. And again, was it legally right regardless? No. But could you make an moral argument that, hey, you know what? If Jesus were here, he would have flipped the tables on that? I think you could make that argument. But that's where so I think they could have salvaged it.
It didn't get violent, did it?
No.
No, I don't believe it got violent, but again, that's the surveilling of the congregation and then making it about the whole entire body of the church kind of thing. I think that's where it kind of got me. But
yeah. Go ahead, Lonnie.
Right. You say that surveilling of the congregation is wrong, right? When a reporter followed a group of people in, because Don Lemon tells a story on his own TikTok channel, to follow a group of protesters in and document what they were doing and asking questions of the congregants, as well as the people that went into the church, as well as the priest, the pastor of the church, was not impeding. I mean, it might have been illegal for them to go in and stop them from worshiping, yes, but then we have to take that same thought and say, okay, they went into schools and they stopped children from learning. They went into church. ICE went into schools. ICE went into churches. ICE didn't give that same amount of grace to Renee Good when she was just flagging them by. Like, we can't, if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander, right? So if the fact that the DOJ deemed that they weren't going to investigate their own people on this officer involved pew-pewing, then I think that we need to give the same amount of grace to the church, because nobody in that church got injured. Nobody in that church lost their life. So to go after people for doing what they felt they need to do, protest, if it was legal, if it was illegal, okay, I give you that. But we got to go after Jonathan Ross as well and prosecute him, because there was no reason for him to take that lady's life. We have to go after the ICE officers who deployed the tear gas or whatever it was that went under that family's vehicle and almost unalived a family of 6. Like, if we're going to play law and order, then law and order applies to everybody, from the J6ers and everybody. That's my thought.
I think you got to be careful with that, because the church is private property, even though it's open to the public. Because with that argument, you can say that I have the right to go into your house, surveil you and the family, even though the function of a house, is different. Again, it is a place of worship, and that's why these laws, do exist, for a reason.
There's not no sign on my house that says all is well.
Yeah, but
no. There's
not
no
for protests.
There's no but with that. See, that's the problem that I have with people that think the way that you do, AIPAC, because you have compassion for the people who you believe are innocent. And were those congregants innocent? Yes, they were innocent. Renee Good was innocent too, and that family of 6 was innocent too. But you can't give all that grace to all them people at the same time to say that what ICE is doing is wrong and they need to be stopped. And just as you're saying those people that went into that church are wrong, you can't compare a house of God to somebody's private property in the same fashion, because nowhere does anybody have a sign that say all public is welcome into my house, because I don't have that.
I think we got to be careful, because we talk about two different things here, right? I made the distinction between it not being legal, because it does go against the FACE Act. It is illegal, for a reason, versus, a moral argument. And I think I made the claim that if they had gone in, that I would have understand from a moral basis if they would have set their sights and camera and surveillance and all of their actions and a protest towards, the pastor, if that pastor was affiliated with ICE and had endorsed, what happened, I guess, to Renee Good, right? So I think that's the argument where I started off with. But there's a reason that that law does exist, right?
But AIPAC, if I may, I was going to bring this up earlier. So this Nick Shirley guy goes pounding on doors at daycares in Minnesota, right? He's pounding on their door. Let me in. It's locked. Let me in. Let me in. With all these people, with all those thugs that was with him. Now, could you imagine, just for a minute, just think about this just for a second. If that door was open and that guy and all those thugs go running in to a goddamn daycare, and that's okay, and yet going into this church as a reporter isn't. Again, the hypocrites that are going, it's insanity. What's going on? Am I wrong there, Tim? Like,
no,
can we justify?
It's pretty insane because they, Biden had an internal rule to not go into sensitive places like schools and churches and shit. And Donald Trump rescinded that. And they have been arresting people on church grounds. I don't know of anywhere they've gone into the church during the congregation, but they'll wait outside until they exit and arrest them. That's just as bad. So Trump's like, well, the government can go in there and violate your rights because, I mean, if you think about it, there's no obligation for one person to protect the right of another person. The Constitution is restrictions on governmental overreach. So Donald Trump wants to claim, well, these people were violating their rights to, for religious assembly or what have you. But then Donald Trump will turn around and say, but we have the right to violate it despite the Constitution restricting them. So it is fucking crazy. They shouldn't go after Don Lemon for a fucking thing. He's a journalist. That is a whole different ball of wax. And no, people shouldn't have gone inside that church to protest. But I also don't think they should be charged with crimes. Or if they do, the fucking punishment should be, minuscule at best. I'm sure a lot of those people didn't even realize that it was against. But, in the optics of that, like you're shooting yourself in the foot here doing things like that. Like it just, I don't know. And I'm an atheist. Leave the fucking churches alone, people. I don't know.
I agree with you on that. I do.
It's crazy.
I agree with you on that they shouldn't have went in. They could have gathered outside and had their microphone and did everything they did from the outside. I definitely agree. I definitely agree that some of these protests have gone past the law. They have done things that were illegal, and you have a lot of government officials telling people to peacefully protest, right? Protest within your rights, right? So that the law can be on your side when ICE violates you. But if you're committing outright crime, then yeah, I do believe that you should be prosecuted, just like I believe all the J6ers should have never been pardoned, because within days of that, I found at least 4 Capitol police officers who unalived due to the trauma and the stress that was put on them from J6. And he pardoned all those people who harmed law enforcement. But now, as we stand here today, they want to excuse Jonathan Ross because they allege that Renee Good tried to run him over. The hypocrisy is crazy to me. So yeah, that's my point.
Yeah. And Nick Shirley going around banging on the doors, as I Love Canada was saying, like that, the people's kids are in there. What a little douchebag. Like, I remember watching a fucking interview with him where they point out to the guy that's standard for them to not like answer the phones or go to the door or have it blacked out, or not be in operation in their off times, or, and he seemed surprised by it. These, do as I say, not what I, don't do what I do as I say kind of people are just disgusting to me. And, we're being led around by them forcibly. I don't know. What do you think? Like, so you don't think they should be punished at all, AIPAC?
I mean, I do think they should be, punished, but I think they should also understand and have compassion of, for, what's been going on, because I don't think ICE. So when ICE went in, ICE did something to the culture of the state and the localities that needs to be accounted for. And I think those are like the intangibles that I think law does make room, for. It's like, look, if not for the federal action, even though, ICE had, I think, the right to be there, the way they carried themselves in that particular manner kind of stoked the flame. So I think that they're, I don't know, maybe those who organize, not necessarily the members of it, but maybe like the primary organizer. But I think that there has to be something. But I just don't think that you can just say, hey, just throw them all in jail, because it just,
that's silly.
That would be silly. And honestly, if I was in, I think this was in St. Paul, but regardless, it happened in the state. But I think if I were there and there was a guy, let's just say behind the pulpit, and I don't have all the details yet, but let's just say it, if I knew for a fact he was espousing or endorsing what happened to Renee Good, I would call out. I would probably call out, probably like towards the end of like the service or something, or
right,
but not disrupting, the course of action, the service itself, because I thought that was wrong.
That's crazy. But in the grand scheme of things, them doing that is like a non-issue when you think about it. Like, it was stupid, sure, but I mean, damn, you got people being shot in the face. You're getting U.S. citizens. They're going into homes, abducting U.S. citizens, scanning their face, and then been like, oh, okay, well, you got your ID that we never even asked you for while you're at your home. Okay, that's fine. We'll let you go. So, in terms of that, like, it's certainly not the most egregious thing we've ever seen. And Jules, to answer your question, the question was in terms of who should be punished, the protesters that went into the church for going into the church during church service. That's what we're talking about. Because, I mean, technically speaking, it is a crime to do that.
If it's a crime, yes. If it's a crime, and anybody that committed a crime, ICE included, should be prosecuted and lead by example. Like, that's the issue that I'm having, is that law enforcement, ICE, the immigration customs enforcement is not leading by example. And so I know, like, saying what's good for the goose should be good for the gander doesn't always, equal out to whatever and not justify what had happened. But then again, like you said, Donald Trump said it was okay to go into churches and schools and obtain people while they're worshiping, but yet it's not okay for these people to go in. And to what AIPAC was saying, the head of I think it's the Minnesota or whatever state it is, he's supposed to be the head of that division while also being a pastor, one of the pastors at that church. So no, he was not there. Don Lemon did speak to the pastor that was there, and he spoke to everybody and got everybody's opinion on what was going on and doing journalism, So it wasn't like he was just talking to the people that went in. He talked to the original pastor. And not that I'm condoning what they did, but the ultimate goal was to point out that the hypocrisy in saying you're the leader of this group of ICE agents here in this state, and you're okay with what happened to Renee Good at the hands of one of your officers, but yet you're a pastor in a church.
Love thy neighbor, my ass.
Supposed to love thy neighbor, exactly. I
They're
think
so
that was
full
their
of shit.
goal, even though it didn't go as probably planned, as it went off the rail or they entered the church or whatever. I get the goal.
Right.
I get them trying to pull out the hypocrisy, but like I said, they could have stood outside of the church and did the very same thing and got their point across.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of like, again, like it's, maybe lesson learned, don't do that again. And a lot of people didn't know it was a crime, but it is right here, 18 U.S. Code 247. Now, it relates to damage, but it also deals with intentionally obstructs by force or threat of force, including by threat of force against religious real property, any person in the enjoyment of that person's free exercise of religious beliefs. So that would fall under that. One could certainly make the argument that is in violation of that statute. And there's others I'm sure that you could throw in there too.
Right. So that means MAGA shouldn't be going into churches they don't agree with either.
Correct.
So, you know.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, because they even at one point burned down or attacked. I don't remember if they burned it down. It was a church. It was a black church. And then they tried to like get it renamed. I don't remember the whole story, but it was a big thing. I think this was during the BLM, protests. That happened. So it's not like, and I'm sure none of them were ever charged for it. But again, they go back to any fucking obscure law from, 1700s if they need to, in order to do what they want to do. And over the years, we've got so many damn laws that nobody can keep track of them all. And so he's got a whole team that does nothing but go back and just, fit the square pegs into the round holes with whatever law there, is, or some obscure precedent that was set, 200 fucking years ago. It's crazy. But that's the way they're operating, and they act like that's okay. I don't know. We're Democrats or, progressives, I should say, have got a lot of work ahead of us because there's a lot of problems that we've got to address. And only 4 years to do it.
And, the story about the leaked false information is another wild story. Like, I mean, they've been saying it for years that he's been compromised since the 80s.
Thank you, Roro.
So it's just like, at what point do we take our blinders off and say, okay, this is not what I asked for when I chose him as a president? Like, this isn't what I thought this was going to be, and just outright admit that this isn't what you thought his agenda was, because he did lie and say certain things, and then he brushed it off and said, "How I was just joking," or "I'm only going to be a dictator for a day," or this whole "Make America Great Again," but America seems to be getting worse and not great. And it's wild to me how the blinders are still blinding people to what he is actually doing in real time.
Yeah, and doing real damage. I mean, the stuff with Greenland is going to isolate us to the point where China is going to be able to go around the entire world, build relations with every country on Earth, and essentially replace us. Which, I mean, as Flick earlier had pointed out, he's like, maybe that's a good thing for the world. And he may be right. AIPAC, what do you say about that? Like, a guest earlier essentially said that if China were to become the, essentially the country that every other country goes to for help for whatever, that would be a good thing if we get replaced. What do you think?
I mean,
for the world, not necessarily for America, obviously, but for the world.
Yeah. Oh, geez. I don't know, because I kind of view things kind of like in terms of where I live. So from like an efficiency standpoint, their manufacturing is more efficient. Their service offerings are becoming increasingly more efficient, especially compared to the U.S. So yes, I mean, there's an attraction there. So I guess I would say yes in that regard, but it would definitely be to the U.S.'s detriment for sure. So I mean, I have some ideas of why the U.S. is doing what they're doing under Trump, but it's it borders on like fringe conspiracy. So.
Everybody accuses me of being a conspiracy theorist, so if, by all means, just put it out there as an opinion, not a fact, and and we're good. Doesn't bother me none.
I honestly think that
real quick. One Love, AIPAC changed his name to AIPAC from I because to troll me, because now when he sends me gifts, he can say, see, Liberal Loudmouth takes money from AIPAC. So that's why his name is AIPAC. It's pretty clever. Anyway, sorry, go ahead, AIPAC.
I appreciate that. So, yeah, I don't think Trump wants to be a part of NATO. I just feel that he believes they're too adversarial. For what he wants. I think he wants to expand to Greenland, not just for security purposes, but for natural resources. There's been numerous articles that have come out about how there could be untapped precious metals like gold, for example, in Greenland, and it could. So a lot of it is just for economic gain. And if you think about it, NATO is in a position where they're like, well, we don't want this for you. We don't want you to compete on this, and we don't want you to acquire Greenland because it's part of Denmark, and we're going to defend our own interests. I think the European countries have a vetted interest in keeping Greenland because I think they're not stupid. They know that all these precious minerals exist, and I'm sure they're making deals with Denmark to extract these resources as well. So I do think that he is very friendly with the Russians, Trump.
You think?
So I used to not think that, full disclosure. I used to not think that, but now
what was the moment? What was the aha moment for you where you're like, this fucking Russian spy? Or I don't know if you've gone that far. I certainly have. But what was that moment?
Greenland was that moment. So it wasn't until Greenland, and I think so. Once I started seeing all the contention with NATO and I'm like, okay, well, why? I mean, from security aspect, I understand what's going on, and then him talking about funding, and then him rebuking the UN NATO on their efforts on funding Ukraine, and then Greenland, and I'm like, okay, well, it makes sense because Russia doesn't like NATO, and now the U.S. under Trump thinks that NATO is kind of too costly to fund, and now it's going against their ambition. So in a way, I think that I think Putin's smiling.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I mean, you get rid of NATO without firing a single shot, essentially. I mean, it's, and then there's nobody there to protect Europe, which has been our role since World War II, essentially. After the Marshall Plan. I mean, that's, and now you're starting to see people criticize Europe like, oh, we've been protecting you. We've funded you all these years. We've done this and that, and you owe us. And, if you don't do what we say, that means you're ungrateful. And it's like, bitch, we benefited more from this relationship that we've had with Europe than they did. Because now they're in a very precarious position where they've reduced their military assets. Their, advancements largely come from us. They don't have the military they once did. And to build that back up is going to take them a decade or more. And so the moment the United States turns, that relationship that they've had where they didn't have to worry about protection because the United States was there because we agreed to it. And then the United States became the world's dominant superpower as a result of that. So we gained a lot from that. So people that think that they got more out of it than we did are full of shit. Now and thank you, APAC. But now Jacobite, I saw you're from that area. Is that correct?
I'm from Denmark, but I lived in Greenland for 2.5 years.
Well, I'm so glad that you came up, sir. I would love to hear your thoughts because now if you go on Twitter, you can type in Greenlanders. It's actually trending. And they're really putting out videos of some, I guess, Greenlanders who are like, oh, we love Trump wearing fucking Trump hats and shit. It's all propaganda, I'm sure. Maybe you can speak to that a little bit. But please, tell us what you guys are thinking and how it's feeling, please.
Okay, so I'm just going to correct APAC, and I think Greenland is not in any security position to the United States. It is pretty much just it is a giant ice block. The only reason why Trump wants Greenland is because of the oil and minerals and the resources that surround it. And he wants the territorial waters as well, so he can exploit them. I was just going to correct APAC on that. There was a poll put out for Greenlanders on how how they would vote if. Well, there was a vote that clearly said that there was 2 questions on the ballot. Would you want an independent Greenland, and would you support American occupation of Greenland? Guess how many people on the panel? Guess how many people voted yes? They would happily have the Americans stay here. 8%.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Yeah, I think I saw that.
8% of Greenlanders.
That seems higher than I thought. Like, who the fuck are these 8%? I say you guys find them.
I have the image downloaded.
Find them and check their hard drives. Because I have a feeling those are like CIA plants or fucking Israeli plants or some shit.
8% of Greenland. If I could turn on my camera, I could literally show the thing on my screen.
Yeah, go for it. I'll put you on the big screen too when you get that up.
I'm not sure if I can as a guest on your panel, unless you don't have the permission set up.
I can't prevent you, and I don't prevent you from using your camera. So you can.
Yeah, because I don't have the option here to switch it on.
Okay, so that may be. You may need a certain number of followers in order to do your camera. I think it's maybe. 500 plus or something.
I'll have to be tabbing. I'm going to have to tab back and forth, Liberal, if that's okay with you, just to read off the statistics.
Well, I mean, that's fine. Yeah, I mean, I believe what you're saying. But if you've got more you want to share, by all means.
Greenlanders actually prefer Denmark over independence or U.S. occupation. So
Interesting.
They did like a style graph that with all the overall votes of Greenlanders, only Greenlanders were allowed to vote in this election. And the question was, would you continue to have Danish citizenship, which grants you free access to the European Union, free access to the common market spaces, free trade between European nations, and free path of movement? And that is roughly about 55% of Greenlanders have said that they want to remain as Danes, because we give them so much more than what America can offer them. We're giving them free access to Europe. We're giving them free healthcare. We're giving them that 8% of people are people who are just like, oh, America, like, oh, Greenland is being occupied by Danish people. No, it's not. We've supported Greenland, but you know how many years, Liberal? 2,000 years we've owned Greenland. We've supported them every step of the way. From fires to floods to snowstorms, we back them 100%.
Yeah, that's
We've given
wild.
them money. We've given them health care. We've given them food.
Now, let me ask you, because, and let me put this up on the screen. I don't know if you guys have seen this. Is anything like this happening where you are, where like Norway has sent out warnings to their people? Norway warns all citizens prepare to hand over your home and car if war breaks out. It says Norwegian authorities have sent more than 13,500 warning letters to citizens informing them that military forces could seize their properties, vehicles, boats, and equipment should war break out. Notices sent out on Monday are in effect for 12 months and serve as advance notification to homeowners about potential seizures. Norwegian military officials say the measures are designed to guarantee that defense forces can access essential resources during any wartime scenario. Is anything like that being talked about in, Denmark or Greenland that you're aware of?
There are discussions, but I'm technically a military conscript, because Denmark has mandatory military service for all males over the age of 18 for 2 months. There are discussions of seizure of property, but it only will be activated if Denmark formally goes to war.
Interesting.
We didn't do it in Iraq. We didn't do it in Afghanistan. It's not going to happen.
Well, I just saw a video earlier where they were saying that there were military troops from other countries arriving on Greenland soil.
Yeah, because they're coming to protect us as well. Because Europe is standing united against a far-right enemy.
Countries too, not just one specific, not just what I mean.
Yeah, the French, the Germans,
the
Norwegians. Oh yeah, by the way, the British just sent one person, so that really gives off how Britain likes us.
Yeah, and let me show this clip because Vice. I don't know what happened to Vice because this reporter is kind of fucking doofus. But let's watch this real quick. You watch this one?
No,
yeah, it's fucking weird.
Yeah,
but
he can go to prison for that. By the way,
he went to prison for this.
No, you can't. No, you can go to prison.
Oh, you can go to. Oh, okay. That's wild.
Because he showed the Danish Special Forces operate
wow.
in space, and they're technically it's national security.
That's insane. Yeah, I didn't know that. Thank you for telling. That's crazy.
I can actually identify that unit. Those are actual. No offense. Those are actual frogmen.
Yeah, like the SEALs. Like the SEALs.
Yeah,
like our Navy SEAls. Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Let's watch this real quick. This guy's a little doofusy, but you know.
Hey, what's up, guys? We're here now at a remote port in Greenland, where, as you can see down there, Denmark has just sent in the Arctic Special Forces. They got shiesties, they got camo, they got ghillie suits, they got big-ass dumpers, and they're about to walk up here. I'm shaking right now because I'm so nervous being an American.
What I find funny about all this is everyone's saying, no, there's no problem, everything's cool, and just more troops. Planes keep coming, ships keep coming. We got the special forces here unloading their weapons. There's a troop buildup. We've been saying it all along.
Hello, brothers. How you doing?
What regiment?
What regiment are you with?
So
what regiment? What a dumbass.
Yeah, no, everything's fine. Nothing to see here.
The one in the green.
As we were in the port this morning.
What about the one in the green? What now?
Yeah, if you go back to just before that, when they were all together, that guy in the back. Wait, go.
This guy. Okay.
Yeah, Vice is fucked. Vice is fucked for that.
Because that politician.
He said, "What regiment?" Like, dude, God, this guy. I don't know. Well, the fucking kindergarten journalist school. Anyway, let's finish this.
So yeah, no, everything's fine. Nothing to see here. But as we were in the port this morning, 2 warships came in. The airport is being inundated by troop transport after military plane. These guys here are like full on night vision glasses, silencers, SEAL Team 6, Special Forces kind of shit. And we're going, well, what's happening? And every time we ask the question, no one will give us any answers. And these guys wouldn't even give us answers.
Dumbass.
It smells fishy.
It smells fishy.
Motherfucker, don't nothing smell fishy. You got the United States talking about we're going to take your shit. And it's, why are these troops here? Something's fishy. Those reporters.
It's like liberal as well. It's like, am I just going to walk up to a bunch of Navy SEAls and say, hey, what are you guys doing out here? No, it's a state secret. It's national security.
That reminds me of, what the fuck was his name? He used to be on TV a lot. The guy that drew the map of where they were when they were in Iraq. What was his name? I don't remember. He was out there talking to the military. It was in like a secure location. His dumbass is drawing a fucking map of like where they were. Idiot. Yeah. I don't know. That's crazy. So you're saying that it's against the law there to even show their faces?
Yeah, technically they are protected people because they are technically classed as national security assets.
Interesting. I bet Donald Trump wishes he could arrest people for taking videos of ICE agents and shit. That's national security. Fucking loser.
Oh no, don't give him any ideas.
Oh, I'm sure he's already gotten those. Lonnie, what do you think of that video? Like, am I wrong to be like, these people are idiots? These 2 journalists.
I thought that too. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, I was like, wait a minute, they is stumbling and fumbling bad. Like, they could have done better. Like, if you're gonna tell it. But y'all are standing there asking them, where they come from. What are they a part of? Really expecting them to be able to tell you that, like right. Even if it wasn't illegal, like I didn't know it was illegal. Even when I saw it, I was like, that was a dumb question. Like, bad enough you're letting everybody know they're there. You asking questions like, hey, what's your name? Is it James? Like, where are you from? Like, they're booted and suited. And then Jacob laughed about shiesties. Here the young kids call masked face Boo Shiesty masks. That's what the young kids call
Yeah.
when you're covered up. So that's why that kid
Interesting.
said what he said.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Shiesty.
Yeah, that's what, yeah.
Shyster was, when I heard that, I'm thinking, somebody's getting ripped off. But
Okay. Well, yeah.
Cypri,
That's the lane it's in.
Cypri, did you mean to come up? I think it may have been an accidental. Let me mute Cypri just in case.
Cypri, wake up.
Once she figures it out. But I think Bunny did it earlier too. Yeah, I mean, it's let me play this clip also real quick. I've never seen this, but I just ran across it, and I think he says something about.
I've got protest. Oh yeah, I've seen this guy.
I've seen this video. Let me see. Is it in English? I hope.
Is this the one where they tell Donald Trump "fuck off"?
I think so.
This in words you might understand.
Yes, this is it.
Mr. President, fuck off. Det var næsten sådan ordene lød, da jeg for et år siden.
He said fuck off. Oh my God. I mean, the American.
So that's Cole Johans. He is from the Social Democratic Party, and he is an interesting fella.
Well, I wanted also to respond to what Lib had said something earlier about the rest of the world pretty much not relying on the U.S. anymore. I wanted to speak to the fact that the Prime Minister of Canada, Tierney, is that his name? He made a deal with China for 49,000 EVs.
Yup.
And then Prime Minister Doug was like, what are you doing? You're going to sever ties with the United States. And it's kind of like, that's the point.
Like no shit, dumbass.
Carney was his name.
Yeah,
Carney was
Mark
like,
Carney.
yeah, that's the point. We're not going to deal with United States anymore, And Doug was over there like, oh, what are you doing? Like, you didn't even discuss this with nobody. How are you? Like, do you not hear him? Like, Doug was up there when Trump got inaugurated and said he was coming for Canada, and Doug was the one that was like, we're going to take your electricity supply. And now he wants to go against Carney. About this EV deal with, like, it doesn't make, but yeah, I think, trade bazooka, that right there, but yeah, I think that I think a lot of countries might have questioned whether Donald Trump was joking or not, or would actually do it or not. But once he did Venezuela, what he did to Venezuela, they're on the ready now. They're like, he's not playing, and we can't just think this is a dementia talking, like he actually did Venezuela, so he's going to come for us. And so now they're literally boots on the ground waiting for him to strike. And I don't blame them for it.
Yeah.
And I don't blame the fact that, these tariffs is pushing people away. And he thought it was going to make them grovel and beg the United States. And it's just turning them to other countries that can give them a better deal.
Well, and Trump just posted this yesterday, right? He posted this picture yesterday.
What Trump and Putin are doing is they're trying to divide Europe. So if Trump gets Greenland, that will give Russia an excuse to march over Europe.
Yeah, well, I mean, whenever NATO is no longer there and the U.S. won't, come to the rescue, Russia will be able to do what it wants over there. And I think that's the whole point. Yeah, I think you're right.
Putin wanted the USSR back.
Yeah,
he definitely wanted that back. So.
No, he doesn't want a USSR. He wants a Russian empire. He wants to declare himself as a Tsar.
I mean, that's probably true.
Yeah, 'cause he feels like they took something from him when they liberated Ukraine from the USSR. And so he wants to get all that back. And I honestly think that it's going to be 3 people running the country. There's going to be Donald Trump running the United States hemisphere. China's going to run part of their hemisphere, and Putin's going to run part of that hemisphere. I think that's the ultimate goal, is to just have 3 governments running the world. That's I don't know how else to say it than that to make it make sense.
Yeah.
Did you hear as well that Trump offered Putin a seat on the Gaza peace board?
Yeah, I heard about that too. And then anybody else has to pay, what is it, 500,000 or
No, it was
$500
$1 billion.
billion or something like that?
It was $1 billion.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, others
It's a
have
cash
to pay.
grab.
But that's him. You got to pay for everything from him. You pay to get pardoned, you pay to be a citizen, and it's all going into that secret account that he has over in Qatar or Qatar, however you want to say it, where he's storing all that Venezuelan oil money. That's where that money is at. It's in a secret account over there in Qatar or Qatar, and that's where all that money's going from all the things that he's charging people for. The citizenship, for the pardons, for the Venezuelan oil and mineral rights, whatever it is he's selling, that money is staying with him, or so he thinks. Because I think Qatar is just going to stick it to him in the end, same as Putin. But that's just my thought.
Yeah, well, in terms of like Russia and what it's doing, that like this has been a long game. I don't know if you guys have ever seen this interview. Let me play just a little bit of it to give. This is 1983 or 7. It's in the 80s, right? This is a defector. Just listen to what this guy has to say and tell me if it doesn't strike some similarities to today.
My opinion and opinion of many defectors of my caliber, only about 15% of time, money, and manpower is spent on espionage as such. The other 85% is a slow process which we call either ideological subversion or active measures, активные мероприятия in the language of the KGB, or psychological warfare. What it basically means is to change the perception of reality of every American to such an extent that despite of the abundance of information, no one is able to come to sensible conclusions in the interests of defending themselves, their families, their community, and their country. It's a great brainwashing process which goes very slow, and it's divided in 4 basic stages. The first one being demoralization. It takes from 15 to 20 years to demoralize a nation. Why that many years? Because this is the minimum number of years which requires to educate one generation of students in the country of your enemy, exposed to the ideology of the enemy. In other words, Marxism-Leninism ideology is being pumped into the soft heads of at least 3 generations of American students without being challenged or counterbalanced by the basic values of Americanism, American patriotism. The result you can see. Most of the people who graduated in the 60s, dropouts or half-baked intellectuals, are now occupying the positions of power in the government, civil service, business, mass media, educational system. You are stuck with them. You cannot get rid of them. They are contaminated. They are programmed to think and react to certain stimuli in a certain pattern. You cannot change their mind, even if you expose them to authentic information, even if you prove that white is white and black is black, you still cannot change the basic perception and the logic of behavior. In other words, these people, the process of demoralization is complete and irreversible. To get rid society of these people, you need another 20 or 15 years to educate a new generation of patriotically minded and common.
Anyway, what he's basically saying is that for decades they put in place propaganda that would make it so that you couldn't even believe your own eyes. Like they would just believe whatever. Even when facts are presented, they've been psychologically manipulated to the point that they won't care. Like it's like this cult that we're seeing right now, where you could present somebody with facts and they just ignore it. Russia's been doing this for decades now, and I think this is the culmination of that.
Yeah, they've been putting people in places since then, since Reagan. They've been putting people in school boards. They've been putting people in local and state government, in federal government. They've been slowly voting in these people and making sure these people get voted in, especially in Congress, where that is one of those cases where these people like Clarence Thomas, where they vote these people in. They've been in there for how long? Like, these people aren't going anywhere. because they know that these people are going to play the game the way they want the game played. I feel like the same with what's her name? Nancy. Is it Nancy?
Nancy Mace?
No, not Nancy Mace. The older lady on the
Reagan?
left.
Oh, on the left?
They blamed her for J6.
Pelosi, the crypt keeper.
Pelosi, yes.
That
Yes.
fucking.
See, I feel like she's part of it too because
Oh, yeah.
she had the chance to, make sure that like Crockett or AOC, especially AOC could have been part of a committee, and she voted for her friend who ultimately passed away within 6 months. She's helped to keep this situation going because they ultimately benefit. So in situations like that, I do agree that the right isn't as, the left isn't as righteous as people would like to think that the left is, and the right isn't as righteous either. We know that, this is corruption at its finest, and there's people on both sides stirring the pot. And yeah, I think that ever since Reagan, they've been trying to manipulate, and they have been manipulating people into believing that, Donald Trump can't do no wrong and everything he is doing is justifiable. But my ultimate question is did y'all get those jobs back that he was supposed to give to y'all? Because most of these immigrants are now rounded up. So I'm just asking.
Well, they don't want to go out there and do actual work. They don't want to do work. They're above all that, right? But yeah, you're right about like Democrats, and this is why I may vote mostly for Democrats, but I'm not really a Democrat per se, because they're all full of shit. They lie right to your face. They engage in the same behavior that they complain about. And so whenever you point to somebody on the right, like Trump doing something crazy, you ever notice that? They always have an example of people on the left doing the same thing. Like kids in cages. You point to Obama, he did the same thing. It's because it's just, people who have everything want to keep it. And that's really, in my opinion, what we're dealing with. APAC, welcome back. I don't know what happened, but glad to have you back up.
Yeah, so I won't go into details, but I was diagnosed with COVID and bronchitis.
Oh, God.
So, yeah. So
at the same time.
Yeah, so I have to take them. So it's not fun. Even with the vaccines, sometimes you can get it. But
I still ain't got one. Nor will I get one, okay? Especially not from this administration. For all I know, they'll put in a fucking bug that turns me into a Republican. Fucking shit. Anyway, yeah. What's up? Welcome back.
It's interesting that you said that. So my wife doesn't trust RFK Jr., but she has an autoimmune disorder, and she had a doctor actually told her, advise her that not to take the vaccine because I guess they didn't know what was in it. But then a later doctor told her to take it and that she really should. And it just goes to show, like, the importance of that particular position that RFK Jr. is in, because there are cases where people have long COVID, and that's a thing where it just handicaps you basically for life. And with someone like my wife, that could be a thing, for her if she ever, were to get it. It could be that that illness just takes, her whole system. So, but yeah, that's kind of where we're at. So, surviving.
Well, I'm glad you're feeling better. I remember getting bronchitis and strep throat at the same time. That was hell. Absolute hell. So I can't imagine, the vid and the chitis at the same time. Like, fuck that shit.
Yeah,
that's rough.
You have good meds, but yeah. But to that point, there's people who can't afford the meds. So.
Yeah, no, like I can't afford health insurance. I'm now without health insurance first time since Obamacare came to be. And, so, what do you do? Cash pay, unless something catastrophic happens, cash pay is going to be cheaper than paying premiums. But, my healthcare plan is to unalive quickly, right? Is when I go, just hope it happens real quick. I think that's most Americans' healthcare plans, right? Coming from the pro-lifers. Like, oh, go ahead, Lonnie.
With the healthcare situation, because they've, did whatever they did to the ACA, work insurance is going to go up as well, and those people are soon not going to be able to afford it. Heck, some of them people.
Well, that's what I can't afford is work health insurance through an employer.
Right. And
it's just too goddamn expensive. Yeah.
And now it's only going to get worse, and this plan that they have where they want you to put your medical information into an AI, and get diagnosed through your phone or your computer.
Yeah, fuck that shit.
You go over to Trump's pharmacy and wait, they're going to put, I heard them say that what they want to do is put more prescription drugs over the counter. And so that people would, not have to spend as much. But there's a guy on here called Dr. Rubens, and he broke down why that is a bad idea, because people, like, especially if it's antibiotics, people can get immune to antibiotics. Your body becomes antibiotic resistant. And if it's over the counter, people are going to pop antibiotics with every little sniffle, every little sneeze.
Right.
And so, but that's their plan, to quote unquote make it affordable, give you money to buy health insurance. I mean, are you going to give me money every year to purchase my plan every year? Like, what are we doing about premiums and deductibles? Stuff like that. Like, there's no real solution. And so they're going back to Obamacare, ACA, where a lot of people are not going to have health insurance. It's going to be a choice between health insurance and rent at this point, and it's crazy that so many people agreed to it, thinking that some people that they thought didn't deserve it was getting it, and they weren't, like and that's why I said earlier, where does the blinders come off and understand that he is screwing everybody, no matter what side you're on, no matter who you voted for, we're all getting stiffed,
Yep.
So,
and they complain about, socialism. Well, what socialism? Like, if the government is giving everybody a check for health, what the fuck is that? What is that? Like, the hypocrisy of these people. Money. Right, and which I thought was interesting, because he's like, oh, we're feeding all this money into the insurance companies. Like, what the hell do you think that people are going to spend that money on there, dumbass? Like,
you didn't want the government to give the insurance company the money with the subsidies for the ACA in the marketplace, but yet you want to give it to the people to go negotiate their own plan and give that same money to the same companies that you said you didn't want to give money to. Like, it doesn't add up. It doesn't make sense. And that's the part that got me confuzzled with the people that were like, he's going to get rid of Obamacare. And like, Obamacare, when it originally hit, the plan came out, they didn't go with it. Like, the Republicans tweaked it to where it was when it was at its quote unquote best. And then Donald Trump came in and started dismantling it. So I don't understand, because Obamacare was supposed to be more of a universal health plan than it is what it was before Trump started dismantling it.
Crazy. I hear this is a longer clip, but let me play this.
I'm thrilled to announce my plan to lower healthcare prices for all Americans.
This guy's such a doofus.
And truly make healthcare affordable again. We're doing things that nobody's ever been able to do. We're calling it the Great Healthcare Plan. Instead of putting the needs of big corporations and special interests first, our plan finally puts you first and puts more money in your pocket. The government is going to pay the money directly to you it goes to you, and then you take the money and buy your own health care. Nobody's ever heard of that before, and that's the way it is. The big insurance companies lose, and the people of our country win. This proposal locks in the massive discounts on prescription drugs that my administration is achieving through our most favored nation drug pricing agreement. Now, when you hear about that, for 40 years they've been trying to do it, but they never were able to do it. No other president was able to do it. I got every other country to approve it by the use of tariffs and other things. They all approved it. Nobody else got it. No other president got it.
He's such a
and
liar.
For the most part, they didn't even try because they felt it was impossible. It'll bring down drug prices 80, 90%, in some cases, just numbers that nobody's ever heard of before.
I remember that one day he said it's going to bring down the drug prices by 200-300%.
Well, you know, these numbers no one's ever heard of before. He's not lying. And I know y'all get mad when I say stuff like that. But he's not lying. Because he just did a press conference where he said that eggs were down 33%, but they're technically only down like 0.5%. Like, that's a number no one ever heard of before, was 33%. You know what I mean? Like, he's not lying in that aspect if he's making up these numbers that no one's ever heard of before. And number two, when I saw that video, I was like, I wonder how many takes it took for them to get that so seamless. Because, you know, he says one sentence and then he's China's a great place, China. Like, he rambles for an hour. So how many takes did they use to get that video so seamless? Like, that's what I want to know.
I don't know, but they posted this. You can find that on whitehouse.gov/great healthcare. That's where it's posted. I mean, it's like this healthcare plan is like nothing. Honestly, it's, you know, we're going to give you money and then you're going to like, really? That's what you came up with.
Still aren't gonna buy insurance with it.
Right. If you give me money, if you give me cash, I'm going to spend it on bills or something. I think most people will, because, you know, if you're not sick in that moment, you have other things that you have to prioritize over. This guy's a waste of fucking breath. I mean, Jesus Christ.
I think it's AI too. I think, but yeah, they, the same thing they did with CK at his quote unquote memorial, and they put him on the screen. They did the same thing here. They put in what they wanted him to say, and they spoofed his voice, and they made an AI video to get their point across, because they know that his base has to hear him say that in order for them to believe that. So, you know, because we know, listening to him, he can't stay on topic. He can't stay on script for longer than 5 minutes. And then he rambles off on the something. Heck, he even gets up and looks out the window just to see how much snow is on the ground, you know, in the middle of a conference. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's comical, but it shouldn't be, but it is, you know. But yeah, everybody's suffering right now, and a lot of people don't want to believe it because, you know, it's called the sunken cost fallacy. It's all or nothing. You know, it's like being at the casino and you're down to your last 500 and you know you should get up and leave.
It's like, well, you've already spent 2,000. Might as well just do the rest of it. Fuck it.
And that's where his base is at. They're in that sunken cost fallacy. They done put everything they had in him. You know, they done bought the merch. They done donated to the GoFundMe. They done, you know, supported him in all his fundraising, and here yet and still, he doesn't respect not anybody that got as less money than him. And he don't got a lot. I mean, he got a lot now, but he didn't. And he and these people are running behind him like a lost puppy, and he's destroying them, you know? I mean,
well,
it's crazy.
He's destroying the country too. You know, the United States is never going to be the same. Our role in the world is going down. China's gonna, you know, find its way at the top, which, you know, we all knew was coming. I mean, I've seen this coming since I was in my fucking 20s, you know, because of the just leaps and bounds that China was doing. And so, you know, I don't know. I don't know what to say, but we got to deal with a lot of stuff. And this country's culture is one of violence and domination and superiority and supremacy. So, like, what has to happen to fix that? Because we're full of people like that. I mean, if you think about it, a lot of the people that came here from Europe were probably not the best. They were probably sending their grapists. They probably were sending their thieves, as Donald Trump always says. I mean, think about that. Somebody running from the law might hop on a boat to come to America, and then they, so now you got a bunch of fucking criminals that end up breeding.
Some of them were sent here as part of a crime,
right, to work it off. Indentured servitude.
Yeah, and then once they worked off their punishment, they were like, here's 10 acres. Go have fun.
Right, so can you even fix that? If because I don't know if that's genetic, if you're predisposed to commit crimes, if you're, is a serial unaliver more likely to have a child that's a serial unaliver? I don't know, but it's possible.
I mean, alcoholism is genetic. They say, they also say, people who have substance abuse issues it's genetic as well. A lot of things are genetic predispositions. Not that it affects every offspring. Depending on how many offsprings you have, there may be one that will follow in the alcoholic's parents' footsteps in a way. But I think it's the ideal of violence solving their issues, because that's how they took the country from the people of Turtle Island to begin with, was with violence, and then they didn't want to be under the European government anymore, so then they got from underneath of them and continued to do the same thing to everyone else that was being done to them that they ran away from. The reason they came over here, religious persecutions, and now look what they're doing to people over here. History doesn't repeat, but it definitely rhymes. People will continue to do what they're doing because they didn't get consequences for what they've done. They haven't been, prosecuted for what they've done, especially here in the United States.
And they won't be
in the past 60 years.
Yeah, they won't be prosecuted. I mean, look, we gave all of the,
not repeat it.
The rebels, the Confederates, a fucking pass after they did what they did. So I don't think we're going to start now. And if you do go after them, they'll be like, oh my God, it's a witch hunt. Look at them. They're just trying to go after us. It's political. So
that's what they said about, the 34-time felon,
Right.
And he was breaking white collar laws left and right. You know what I mean? And they screamed it was a witch hunt. And that's the hypocrisy that gets me about what's happening today, is kind of like, y'all claim that Renee Good did something she shouldn't have done, and the officer of the law was not investigated. But yet, you got people retaliating in ways that I don't 100% agree with, and you're screaming for them to be punished for standing up and fighting back. Like I said, it may have been a little bit extreme, but even the ones that aren't going to that extreme, you're going after innocent people who are sitting home watching TV in their boxer shorts, and you want to drag them out in below 3-degree weather in Crocs and boxer shorts, or drive them around the city, find out they are a legal citizen of the United States, and bring them back home just for what? Shits and giggles? You took a lady out of her car who was going to her doctor's appointment because she got a brain injury or whatever, and you
that TBI video, yeah, I saw that. That's pretty gross.
And those officers are not being prosecuted for violating citizens' rights, but yet
and they won't
when the citizen, right?
But this stuff isn't new. Law enforcement in this country has been doing shit like that for as long as I've been alive, and they've never been, largely prosecuted until after George Floyd, and then we started seeing some of them go down. But for example, this motherfucker in Mississippi, this white dude, he was just found not guilty by a jury. He hits this kid on an ATV, kills him, 10-year-old black kid. And then he takes off. He leaves. Even though, you're supposed to stop and you're supposed to render aid. He didn't do that. He does eventually come back to grab the mirror that came off of his truck when he hit the kid who was on the ATV, and then leaves again. They found him not guilty in this fucking state of fleeing the scene of an accident, even though he literally did it not just once but twice. And so he was found not guilty on any of these charges. He was also under the influence of, drugs at the time. Found not guilty for that too. So that, that's what I'm saying. Like, even if we get past Donald Trump and we get past all this crazy shit, America is still full of a bunch of worthless human beings.
Yeah, and their ego is what's pushing them forward because they feel like they lost something. And I think that's been the rhetoric or the mindset that has been passed down a generation ever since the emancipation of the enslaved people, that these people feel like they lost their wealth because they lost their property, quote unquote, when people were emancipated from being enslaved, and they've been pushing that ego, they've been pushing that pain forward generation to generation ever since. And if we look around history, between the 1930s to today, we see that they always resort to violence and then blame the people for standing up and fighting back. I even found a video where I guess after Germany, they were over there shaving women's heads because the women were working with the quote unquote enemy and marched them through the city and humiliated them because they were teaching them how to speak the native language, and they were, helping them, have food or do whatever. Like, it's always a way to make us comply. That's all this is if you don't comply, this is what's going to happen to you. And that's all they're doing is they're pushing this agenda for everybody to comply in advance. And so many people are willing to comply in advance. Like I said the other day, it's not the Department of War, it is the Department of Defense. And so many people are referring to it as the Department of War, and nowhere in Congress made it say change the rules. The internal paperwork still says the Department of Defense. Like, it might say something different on the building, but the internal paperwork still says the Department of Defense. Even if you go to the website itself, it still says that on their paperwork because Congress hasn't changed the name. And so for people to be like, oh, it's the double, no, you're complying in advance. They want you to comply in advance. And if you don't, then what happened to Renee Good will happen to you. What happened to George Floyd will happen to you. What happened to that family in that car will happen to you. And that's what they want. They want to fearmonger everybody into compliance. And that's my opinion.
Well, I mean, the question I posed was like, even if you get past Donald Trump, Americans are still, a lot of them are just really bad people. Right? Like, so is there a solution to this aside from making just racism or what have you? I don't even know how you fix that, but getting rid of white supremacy in all its forms, or supremacy in general in all its forms, really, because it's just going to happen again, because we didn't rectify the problem, after the Civil War. We didn't. And here they are again, rearing their ugly fucking racist heads. So I don't.
Well, that's because it went dormant the first time. Because
but
and then it came back the second time now, and so I don't think we're going to get rid of it. I think it's just either going to go dormant again, and people are going to think that it ended. Like a lot of people say, oh, well, the 1960s, everything changed. There wasn't this much racism after the 1960s. And there was, but it wasn't as public as it is now because he opened the door again. He made it cool to be that again, even though these people were just doing it under their breath and behind back, you know. And I'm not just talking about racism. I'm talking about the supremacy part, you know.
Yeah, like that guy that was up on the panel talking about, you know, Americans' lives have more value than any other lives. Like that Amerocentrism fucking supremacy crap is a problem. It's a serious problem, because if you think you are more valuable just because you exist, you know, than somebody else, like that leads you to be able to do terrible things to people because you think that they're less than you. And I don't know that America's going to change even if we get rid of Donald Trump. And sometimes I wonder, are the Democrats, you know, the people leading the party anyway, are they just as fucking racist and they just pretend to not be? And that's just the difference between them?
I think some of them are playing a game that has to be changed, to be honest with you. Like, I think some of them get in there and it's kind of like, oh, we will get, like Donald Trump says, if you don't comply with me, I will make sure that you don't win the next election, keep you in your seat, or I will make sure that this happens to you or that happens to your family or whatever the case may be. So I do feel like some of them are pushing back, and then I feel like the other ones are too scared because they'll lose everything that they have if they push back. This stuff was here before Donald Trump, and it's going to be here after Donald Trump because of the ego that these people have been instilled in them, especially with like the Reuters, the gropers, you know, that ego is not going to go anywhere.
More like gropers. Fucking gropers.
It's gonna keep pushing forward. So that's my
opinion, yeah.
But I'll let Dewey speak.
Yeah, Dewey, welcome in, man. I assume Cypri didn't mean to come up, so I'll go ahead and drop Cypri. Unless Cypri, are you there? 3, 2, 1. Okay. Yeah, go ahead, Dewey. I'm going to step away for just a second, but I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. The reason we're in this big trouble right now is because what the Republicans and Trump have found out is the Constitution has no teeth. It doesn't say that if you do this, this is what will happen. It's a gentleman's agreement. And any law that doesn't have teeth is only a suggestion. And that's why we're here, is because Republicans and Trump have found that out. So they just go ahead and do whatever they want and then hope that nothing happens.
I agree. Like they are, because the Constitution is interpreted per individual judge, federal or not. And so, yeah, I agree that they try this, they try that to see what they can get away with, and then these people don't push back. And I think, like I said, the reason they don't push back is because they don't want to lose what they've gained, whether it be the lobbyists, you know, whether it be Trump threatening to make sure that they don't get another election, or them losing a loved one in some freak accident. I think he's holding something over them to let him get away with what he's getting away with, because the Constitution and the law is written through the lens of interpretation. Yeah. There's nothing to definitively say, like you said, no, you can't do this, and yes, you can do that.
And if you do this is what's going to happen to you.
Yeah, well, and a
lot of the laws that we get out of Congress are the same way. You can't do this, but it doesn't say what happens if you do that. You will go to jail, you will do whatever. It's not there. It's just a suggestion.
I mean, that's a good point. We do have like Section 1983 laws where, you know, you can sue somebody for, you know, violating your rights or whatever, but therein lies an issue where you have to have a lawyer. A lot of them won't even fucking take your case anymore pro bono unless it's something, you know, that's made national fucking news and they know that they can get money out of it. So, you know, people just getting, you know, roughshod without any fucking ability to rectify the problem. And
exactly.
So yeah, maybe a revolution is the only way to do anything. And I don't even know that would do it, because there's just so many bad people in this country.
I know locks only work on honest people, right? Like,
Sure.
That's kind of how this is. It's like locks only work on honest people. So.
And most laws are a reaction and not a proactive.
Hoopla Khan, I've invited you a couple of times. You should come up if you want to, chat. I'd love to hear from you. All the opposition's too afraid to come up and talk anymore. Of course, it's...
Well, somehow you got shadow banned because I tried to share and it said it could not be shared. And the only time it does that is when they shadow ban you. So.
Well, that doesn't surprise me. I was able to share it this morning, but...
Yeah, I mean, it would have been, by the time I got here, it said I could not share the live.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And I know when they like hit you with the so-and-so has bad whatever and you got to drop them, if you try to share it in that 10-minute window, it'll tell you you can't. So I think it's because of the topic and the fact that we're 2 days away from the 22nd. And we know what happens on the 22nd. Larry Ellison takes full control that day.
Right.
So,
Yeah, I mean, it's coming to an end. And, when that happens, I'll be on YouTube because I don't see myself downloading their app that's going to data mine and crawl through your phone and get every piece of information inside your phone. I'm sure that's what they're going to do with it. I've read that you'll have to... Yeah, I've read that you'll have to download a new app. I don't know if that's true or not, but I won't be. So, YouTube it is.
Since the blackout, I think that's what it's going to be. Like the blackout that happened, last February, where the app went dark for 2 days. And
Ray Day.
All of a sudden everybody was about to get back,
yes.
got everything back,
Yeah, I do have an account on YouTube. I simulcast all of my shows there, so if you miss part of a show, you can go back to the live tab on this fucking camera. You can go back to the live tab and watch previous shows on there. I used to create content on there, but since I've come to TikTok, I haven't really done any videos over there, but I need to start because the writing is on the wall. I mean, the fucking Zios are taking over everything. This is a weapon of war to them. That's what Benjamin Netanyahu said. So, I'm not going to be fodder for their fucking war machine. So, I mean, I know YouTube isn't much better. And eventually somebody's going to have to create another app. Somebody will have to create a decentralized app of some kind in order for people to be able to talk. Cause they're just going to shut everything out. And then what do? Then you go out and protest in public and get, tear gassed and shot in the face.
Well, yeah, I noticed that my algorithm has definitely started to do some different things because I'm seeing more videos from where I'm exactly at, which I've barely seen any videos from anybody close to me on my FYP. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't focus on my location, you know what I mean? I was just, viewing whoever, wherever, information was worth me paying attention to. And that's what I would do. But yeah, their whole reasoning for this was because we were too quote unquote woke on the app because we were seeing things happen in real time in 4K. Or whatever K your phone happens to be. And they could no longer push the same propaganda. They had us believing for a long time that, Christopher Columbus touched foot in the Americas, in the United States, when that wasn't the truth. And so now they can no longer, push that same propaganda because we are getting factual information. We are seeing what they consider third world countries, like that video you posted the other day in the chat, where the guy was like, nope, I'm not filming anybody in the city. I'm going to go out here to the jungle.
Let me find that, actually, because that is so true. I'm going to pull. That was this morning I shared that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I said that's about white.
Right. And that's what they've been doing this whole time. And now they can't. So now they got to come over here and try to distort the reality that we have via this application, and the only way they could do that was to gain control over it. I mean, they still don't. He only has 80% because China can't sell intellectual properties to anybody outside of China, so they have to keep that 20% in China. Because of who did it? Somebody, was it Trump or was it Obama? Something happened, and there was supposed to be a sale between China and the U.S. and the U.S. did some funky stuff, and China was like, you won't catch us with our pants down again. And that's why they're not allowed to sell intellectual properties. But I can't remember which president did it. But yeah.
Yeah, I've got to, for the people watching on YouTube, I've got to mute this because there is music on there and YouTube don't like that. So, well, shit, you guys may not. Tell me if you can hear this. Oh, might help if I unmute it. Can you hear that? Are you able to hear that music? Okay. All right. This is funny. This is like the U.S. media too. Anyway, you get the idea. I mean, this is fucking hilarious video.
Started meeting people in the world and realizing that they were feeding us propaganda to make us think that. And then what they were also doing was save one child with 7 cents a day in third world countries. They were doing that over there to us. It was crazy.
Oh, and now I'm getting an echo. Let me see if it's okay. It may have been you. That reminds me of you can find these CNN clips where I think they had videotaped it on top of one of the buildings, but they made it like they were in Desert Storm, and apparently it wasn't. It was a movie set basically, and they were reporting like they were on the ground. Fucking wild shit. It's been years since I've seen that video, but let me see if I can't find it. CNN lying Desert Storm. I think it was Desert Storm. Yeah, here we go. First Gulf War bloopers. Here, let me play this. This is pretty funny, actually. Good shit. This is the epitome of our fucking media, really.
Was simply to go to Charles Jaco for an update about what was happening in Kuwait City this morning. We want to roll the video.
You can't hear that?
Right before.
You can't hear that? Dewey, can you hear her?
No.
Oh, that's weird.
Couldn't hear her.
Oh, fuck. I don't know why. Well, I'll figure it out. It don't matter. Because I could hear it. So
the
I
audience
don't.
said they can hear her. I can't. But
The audience can hear it? Well, here, then I'll play it for the audience because it's pretty funny. All right, let's see. That is weird.
He was supposed to go on the air, and you'll see what happened as he was preparing to do a live report to us back here in Atlanta. Can we roll that now?
Hey, could somebody please put that... Jesus Christ! Wow!
I think this is the video.
Carl Rochelle is here with me, just came up. Carl, I know we can't be very specific given these restrictions, but within those parameters, what did you see?
Well, what I saw, I didn't see anything hit. I looked almost straight above us. There's a vapor trail coming from my right to my left, and there's a cloud of something. It looks like it might have been an explosion, a cloud. I'd say...
Is it? Look at it. I hope this is the video.
Okay. My apologies for that. He's putting on a gas mask. There hasn't been any gas dropped here, we could tell.
Let me see if I can't find the cue it up.
You may smell some of the fumes from a missile exhaust going off. The missiles use a rocket, a cordite, some sort of burning. We just heard a little thump just then. But
I have to apologize for that. I caught a whiff of something and felt momentarily dizzy. You're more experienced in military affairs than I am, but it might have been a little gas from the rocket exhaust. There wasn't anything. A lot of people have the respirators on just
and again, you run to get down here. In my case.
Oh, come on! Is this? Hold on. There's one where they pan out and you can see the fucking side of the building like it was. I'll have to find it someday and post it in Discord or something. But I don't know. It's crazy. Like our news has been propagandizing us since like forever, and it's just gotten worse now.
Wasn't it Reagan that got rid of the journalism?
The fairness doctrine, yeah.
Fairness document, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, and
It's been going downhill.
Yeah, and Republicans been playing a long game too because they took over all the fucking news stations, like the radio stations and shit. That's why, like, no matter where you went in the U.S., you could find Rush Limbaugh on like every AM station, like everywhere. It was all talk radio. It was always Republican. I remember arguing with my professor once in I think it was a speech class or something about that. He's like, "Oh, Democrats run all of the media," and I'm like, bitch, what are you talking about? The media is corporations, and Republicans are the ones that love corporations. Of course, Democrats love them too, but...
Well, they were running that whole thing about they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats on the radio before his election, and I was like, what are they doing? This ain't true. Like, wait a minute. Like, because when I get my car, my phone connects via Bluetooth, and then I listen to music via my phone. So that little minute and a half before it connects, the radio was playing, and that was one of the commercials. And I was like, I know they is not playing this commercial on the radio of him saying they're eating the dogs and they're eating the cats. Like, I'm like, this is wild. Like, no wonder all these people believe this, because I was even seeing commercials on TV or ads, whatever, of him making that statement. Like, I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy. Like, they are really turning up the propaganda.
Crazy. Now, this just happened, actually. What do you guys think of this? They've created a human blockade around this ice garage.
Office in Center City. Organizers from No Ice Philly say they are attempting to block vehicles.
As in Philadelphia.
Facility. No Ice Philly is made up of faith and community leaders who say they want to protect neighbors from ICE actions in our city. The group of roughly 30 protesters are saying that they will refuse to leave until they are arrested or forcibly moved.
Or run over.
Somebody's going
Main Street by the SEPTA station, it looks clear, but do
yeah, so like, I mean, what are your thoughts on doing things like that? Like,
I don't think they should be that close. I think that, yeah, but I think that's a little too close for comfort for me.
Because if they get run over, Republicans are about, that's what happens when you stand in the way of the garage.
Well, a little civil disobedience goes a long way. And that's what we found out in the 60s and 70s. So I fully support.
Just fuck it. I mean, they're going to get moved out of the way or arrested. I guess that's the point. I guess I guess it when like Jake Lang. Have I played that Jake Lang video yet? Surely
Maybe
I did.
Not today, but I heard that there were some black people who
that saved his ass.
Saved his ass, and now they were trying to spin it as if those people were a part of the problem. Yeah. So, but I think peaceful protests don't break the law. I think that's okay. My whole fear was somebody was going to get run over and they were going to, do what Kristi Noem does. So
right, they would run over them and then back up. Yeah, here's old Jakey Poo.
Let's go. Jake, go. Let him go, y'all. Jake, why are you here?
Like, Imagine what's going through this guy's head when normally when he goes and antagonizes people, they don't do anything, right? And he thinks Democrats are these, just weak, purple-haired, like people eater guys. And so he goes there and they just start, everybody's so rabidly pissed off that they start attacking this guy. I wonder what was going through his mind. I wish I could have had a conversation with him in that moment. Like, is this that moment where you realized that you were fucking around a little bit too much?
I think he thought that, and I hate to say it this way, but I'm going to say it this way. I think he thought because they look like him that he was going to be okay. I think he thought that he was going to be able to convince them because he's under the belief that only the black and brown people are the problem. And so I think he thought he was safe, and he should have been, because he should have the right to free speech, just like the rest of us. But at the same time, he played too close to the fire and got burnt.
Did he deserve it or not? Because in my opinion, like if you're going to go out there and say, protest in favor of ICE or whatever, that's one thing. But I've also read that he was literally like, taking shit from people, like pulling flags and doing all other kind of crazy stuff. And that was why he got attacked. But like, I think people should have left him alone, but scaring the fuck out of him, I guess is appropriate.
Well, my theory is stand behind whatever it is you do and say. Stand behind it knowing that there is a consequence for your action, right? So if you want to run up on people and call them out their name, you may get through 5 people and nobody do anything, and that 6th person might haul off and knock the mess out of you. But that's the consequence for you running up, calling people out of their name. And so I think he like I said, he got what he got because he played too close to the fire and got burned. Most people's parents tell you not to play with the stove. You'll burn yourself. It's hot. And when you don't listen, you realize real quick.
Jake Lang's like, no, watch. Look. Fucking the blood coming off the back of his head is like, I don't know. It's like,
I think that might have been a bridge too far.
Yeah, I don't think he understood, but now he does. And the look of just sheer terror on that man's face. I enjoyed it a little bit, I gotta say.
Didn't they say he was a J6er?
Was Jake Lang a J6er? I don't know if he was or not.
I heard in one of the videos that he was allegedly a J6er.
I don't know. Let me look and see.
Or he was definitely there. One of the two. Jake
Lang, a January 6th insurrectionist. Let's see. Yep. Accurately described as January 6th insurrectionist based on publicly documented actions in court records. He traveled to Washington, D.C. specifically to stop the certification of the election. He breached restricted Capitol grounds and was part of a crowd that forced its way past police lines. Prosecutors allege he assaulted law enforcement officers, including grabbing a riot shield and using it against police. He openly celebrated the attack afterward and framed it as a revolutionary action. Wow. Okay, so you know what? Fuck you, Jake Lang. You deserved every bit of that, you little bitch. Like, you went over there as a revolutionary. Think of the irony here, guys. I'm a revolutionary. We're going to take over the Capitol. He goes in there. He was probably the one that shit on the desk. And then when a tyranny is actually here and the government is just unaliving your rights left and right, this guy's going over there to protest the people who are against tyranny and wanting you to comply. That's fucking crazy to me. Deserved. So to celebrate this loss for Jake Lang, let's watch the video again. Let's watch it again, and let's all point and let's all laugh. Oh. But the election. Fuck you, Jake Lang. He's so scared.
We are currently in downtown.
I wonder if he felt like a Capitol Police officer in that moment.
I wonder where Trump is at saving him. Like I guess he felt like he could do that because he got away with the J6 thing, kind of, sort of. He got, whatever charges he had dropped, pardoned for it. And so where's his cronies at now? Like where?
They're all in Israel. Isn't Jake Lane's also? He's the one that was over there licking the wall, wasn't he? Oh, Jakey, the one that was screaming at. He was the one that was screaming at those Muslim people in I guess Minnesota, wasn't it? Like throwing food at him or something. Yeah. I don't remember the exact what happened, but then it turned out they got pictures of this dude like over in Israel, like licking the wall. I don't know what's up with that. What the fuck is up with that? And then like Florida coming out with this fucking, where's it at? I had it earlier. They got the fucking
in his redistricting.
No, this shit right here. This is so like in the United States. It's so weird. Hold on, it's not letting me. There we go. Right here. I mean, look at that. This is the license plate. New special license plate. Like what the fuck? Isn't that crazy?
And I love how they try to be coy about it because so many people aren't going to catch on. They're not going to see it. But it's definitely there. It's noticeable. But they kind of obstructed it, so the ones with the blinders on are just gonna see a flower and an orange and a leaf. But yeah,
this love affair with Israel is. I mean, these people love Israel more than they love the United States. It's fucking. This is strange. It really is. It's weird. And they're the ones, apparently, the last show that I did, we pulled it up here on the show. Wasn't even aware. Israel's been training our federal agents for quite some time now. They came over here and trained some of our ICE people. Yeah, they trained the people that trained the ICE agents. It's weird.
Didn't he put a base somewhere to bring Qatar over here? Wasn't he using one of our bases for Qatar?
Yeah, it's like South Dakota or something like that. But it was for, I think, Air Force, something like that. It was like a training facility to house planes. Right. But I don't know if they'll have any troops. But again, Pam Bondi being a fucking federal or a foreign, registered foreign agent for Qatar, kind of puts all of that into perspective. It makes a lot more sense when you think of it that way. Dewey, did you hear about that?
Which one?
About Pam Bondi. She has lobbied for Qatar in the past with Ballard Partners. Yeah, had to register. Yeah, foreign fucking lobby. America first.
So I have a question. Sure. And this is a stupid question, I know. But how come the Democrats haven't got up off their ass and done an investigation on the DOJ, Homeland Security? Why haven't they done that? That's all they have to do is just stand up and scream it.
Because
whether they get it or not, it's a different story.
Because they don't have no power, because the power is all Republican and everything Mike will walk away. They will all turn their backs on it. They called for the impeachment of Kristi Noem after Renee Good. And, they don't have the majority right now.
And they don't need the majority to stand up and scream about it. They really don't.
To raise hell.
They do. They get silenced, Michael filibuster the House or whoever, they won't let things come to the floor. You see how he sent them home for like 2 months so they couldn't bring things up like that. But they've been and the Democrats, I think they're trying to the best of their ability. Do I think they could try harder? I kind of agree with you. They could, but I don't understand what it is they can and can't do. Like, you know, they're already going after Mark Kelly for telling people to disobey illegal orders. You know, Hegseth said that he's going to try to rip his pension from him because he told the U.S. military to only follow lawful orders. And this is the type of stuff that they're doing to these people. And I think some of them are scared, you know, for not themselves, but for their family and their constituents, and they're not being as loud as we would like them to be. And then the other side of that, I also think, is because they're only allowed to do and say certain things.
Right.
They get in trouble.
That's one
Fuck
thing
that
they
shit.
can do. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they don't have the majority. It
Exactly,
doesn't matter
Jules.
if it doesn't happen. What matters is they say it. And they say it loud enough that people listen. And that's where I have a problem with the Democrats right now. Is they're just sitting back and saying nothing, and they should be screaming their damn heads off.
There was a Democrat named Green. He called for the impeachment for Donald Trump right after he got inaugurated, right after he came out with his 51st executive orders. And then there was another one just the other day, like I said, she's calling for the impeachment of and the removal of Kristi Noem, Secretary Noem. There are some that are speaking out about getting rid of these people. But when you have Republicans playing wishy-washy, you know, like behind the scenes and everything else, they're talking like, yeah, we got to get rid of them. We don't like them. But then when the vote comes to the floor, they vote against it. Just like the recent one where they wanted to pass the law that says that Trump can't do what he's done in Venezuela. I can't remember exactly what it was. And J.D. Vance had to be the deciding tiebreaker, and he chose that he could do that. So, I mean, I get where you're coming from, but that's the issues that I think they keep running up against. It's that the Republicans aren't siding with them. Enough of them aren't siding with them to make things happen, to make change happen.
And it's not about whether they're on your side or not. It's not about whether it passes through Congress or not. What it's about is somebody standing up and doing something, even if it's just screaming and yelling. It needs to be done. Yeah, I know they won't get. I know they won't get anybody impeached. I know they won't get any laws passed. But they got to do something besides sit on their ass.
We do have them. We have Jasmine Crockett, AOC, Bernie Sanders. Like, there's a lot of them speaking up, and they're putting things forward. And that's the thing that I think a lot of us are missing, is that we don't have the majority. And without the majority, we can't do nothing but yell and scream. And that's what a lot of them have been doing. Like I said, they just called for the removal of Kristi Noem. But is that going to go anywhere? Probably not. You know, Bernie Sanders is going around the country with AOC trying to flip Republicans to not vote for the Republicans and trying to put it in their face like, look, he is destroying America and you guys need to come together with us and help us get rid of him. And these people sit at his meetings and be like, yeah. And then as soon as the polls open up, they go in and change their mind. And you got Republicans doing the same thing in the House and in the Senate. You know, like they're saying, yeah, in closed door meetings. And then when it comes to the vote, they're changing their mind. Like, I get what you're saying. And there are a lot of people making a lot of noise, and maybe your algorithm isn't algorithming the right way. But if you look up Jasmine Crockett.
They just voted to fund ICE again. Like, what are you talking about, Lonnie? They aren't doing a goddamn thing. Democrats aren't doing a goddamn thing, and this is, and you know, I'm sick of this. They're not in the majority. Even when they're in the majority, they don't do a fucking thing. They don't do anything that reigns in any of. Well, of course not. I'm just saying, like, I'm giving Democrats no fucking passes here, because this guy is unaliving this country. And they're, well, you know, we're short one vote. I'm sorry, but that's not, I just, no.
Well,
Well,
like I said,
we need to be putting the Republicans on offense. Okay, and we're not doing that.
There's no
we should be
coordinated
saying,
effort, you know.
also said they
This
put
is
forth
what
a
we
bill.
stand for. Now, Republicans, tell me what you want to do about this.
They put
And that's
forth a
what we
bill
should be doing.
that
and
said
and
that
then
Trump couldn't be spending money without Congress, and J.D. Vance was the deciding vote, and he shot it down. So I'm not saying they're not trying. Maybe they're not trying hard enough, and I get it. Like, you want to say like they should try harder, and I agree they should. And at the same time, we also need to be like, yeah, we have to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth. Both sides are part of the issue, because J.D. Vance was the deciding vote in that, and Donald Trump wouldn't be able to keep doing what he's doing if that would have passed. But it didn't, because of J.D. Vance and because of the people on the right who decided that one minute they were for it and the next minute they weren't.
And what Democrat has stood up and said something about it?
I'm sure I could Google it and find it.
There's no coordinated effort here either, guys. They're not rallying the base. There's nobody coming to bring us together to do something. It's a smattering of, you've got Jasmine Crockett every now and then will say something crazy. You got Gavin Newsom's dumbass who votes against tax increases for rich people and then turn around and, I'll send you some knee pads because that's really going to do something. Look, people are laughing about it on Twitter. Like, this isn't working. They aren't even trying.
What's the solution then? I mean,
I don't have millions and millions of dollars at my disposal to put out ad campaigns, to do whatever it is the fuck that they do. Look what Republicans did. They were able to do it. Why the fuck can't Democrats do it too? It's like they don't even try. They're just doing the same thing that they've always done. Well, I guess when I lost that vote there, there's nothing we can do about it, and they're just gonna go home. It's like, I don't know. They're not even playing the game. They're just like, well, I'm not allowed in the sandbox anymore. You know, like I don't know what the solution is in terms of what they can do, but I'm not seeing them do a fucking thing, and it's infuriating.
And I get it, and I feel the same way as you do. What I won't do is give up on them, though, because I can't give up on them, because if Republicans aren't ready to give up on Donald Trump, then no way I'm going to be ready to give up on the ones that are trying to fight. Maybe not all of them. Maybe vote out the wrong ones when the opportunity comes, and try to make sure that we're putting people in that will be doing the true fighting and not just relying on, the other side. But I also think that is a negative for the Democratic Party, is that we expect our candidates to be 100% perfect when the Republicans are okay with the 34 felon.
We just want them to
look. Leaders gotta lead. Well, who's the leader right now of this movement? Who? You can't point to one, because there isn't one. There just isn't. Like,
the ones that were put up are the ones that we tend to want to be like, oh, he's not perfect, he's not perfect, because you yourself said how Jeffries is on the back of a Jewish rabbi, and that's your issue with that. But
that's Cory Booker.
Cory Booker. But then the Republicans know that Donald Trump is doing what he's doing, and that J.D. Vance is doing what he's doing, and Mitch McConnell did what he did, and Kennedy is standing up there saying one thing one moment about, oh, well, going after Greenland will be a disaster, and in 6 weeks, Kennedy will be singing a different tune as soon as Donald Trump gives him his money. Like, we know that that's what's happening, and we need to stop trying to find perfection, just like they don't look for perfection on the right, and we just need to make sure that whoever we're pushing forward is actually going to do what it is they say they're going to do. And that's my opinion on trying to come to some sort of solution, because Donald Trump and them are not perfect by any means. They are way worse than the Democrats, but we're still saying the Democrats are bad as them. And if that's the case, then we need to start showing just as much support for the Democrats.
No, they don't hold themselves accountable, and neither do Democrats. If you're not going to hold your people accountable, then you're just like them.
So
we're just, if we just give these motherfuckers a pass every time they turn around and shit in our face, then how is that any different?
Yeah, and tell me, what is the Democratic platform? What is going to be the Democratic platform? Nobody knows.
Israel first. That's the Democratic platform.
We're 11 months away from a very, very critical election, and nobody knows what we stand for. Not even Democrats know what we stand for.
That's the
What
question.
are we going to go out and do, and what are we going to go out and say, and what is our platform?
Then who's going to be the face of that? Who can we all agree on to put all our eggs in that basket and push that person out into the front? Who's it going to be? Because we don't talk about who should be in the front. We talk about why they shouldn't be in the front. Like, we have issues with all the Democrats for one reason or another, but we can't come to a common ground like they did with Donald Trump and say we're going to push this person no matter what, like the right did with Donald Trump.
But we're not in a party like that. That's the difference.
Well, maybe we have to be. Maybe that's the only way we beat them.
Just do whatever you want as long as I benefit.
Well, what is the comparative? Like, because if we don't play the game the way they're playing the game, they keep trampling all over us. Like, they keep playing nice and getting kicked in the face and then turning around and licking their wounds and not trying any harder. So we either
but that doesn't mean that you just, you call yourself a Democrat, so I'm going to vote for you.
No, that's what I'm asking. Who are we all going to support?
I don't know. A leader has not emerged. Nobody's come forward. Nobody's come forward to do this. Donald Trump emerged. They try
to win in the court of public opinion.
I hope we get someone who actually wants to serve the people of the United States. It doesn't matter from what party, just somebody who actually gives a shit about this country.
A Republican could come forward. And
I know, I don't care.
Yeah.
Somebody who understands that we can't be spending billions of dollars making Israel great while children here in America starve every year. 2.1 children go hungry every year in the United States. They should be having free lunch. They should be having free health care, retirement funds. Why is Israel getting free retirement from our tax money?
So name me one person who is not any of that you actually like and we can agree on.
I mean, I just don't care what party they're from, as long as they
I don't care what party they're from either.
They can't be bought.
One person who does not agree with Israel.
There's not anybody in the Congress. Maybe, God willing, somebody will show up somehow.
Well, and that's the thing. They've been gatekeeping. They've been gatekeeping my whole life. That's what they do.
Because
they have a DNC, so they could be putting out policy. And they could be, putting out a platform. Even if it's just the DNC, something's being done. But you don't hear anything from them. You're not hearing anything from the Democrats. And I'm a Democrat.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's true. I
keep asking the same question. Like, one person, no matter what side they're on, that does not agree with what's going on in Israel. I just want one name of one person, whatever side of the fence they're on, left, right, independent, Green Party, that is not for what everybody says that the rest of the world is for, what the rest of the United States government is for. And then once we figure out who that one person is, then we all need to rally around that one person.
Absolutely.
But we don't have one person. We sit here and we say, oh, not this one because they're pro-Israel. Not this one because they're doing this. Not this one because they're doing that.
Well, what's the this and the that?
Let's pick this person. Let's pick that person.
What's the this and the that you claim that we are saying I'm not going to vote for this person because of? What's the other thing? Because Israel is a big deal to me. If you support Israel at this point, you can go fuck yourself.
I don't support it. I'm asking.
No. I'm saying in terms of leaders. But you said Israel, and then you said, and then we won't support you because of this, and we won't support you because of that. What are the other two things that the base is saying they won't support a candidate over? What are those things?
Okay, so every little infraction that people don't like about a certain person, like Bernie Sanders, right? if we were to rally around and push Bernie Sanders, but he's too old now, so we can't push Bernie Sanders right now. So, you know, I said something about Jasmine Crockett, and you were like, oh, well, she gets a hot mic every once in a while, and so does AOC. And I'm like, okay, but they didn't say
I didn't say that I wouldn't vote for them.
But no, you're asking me what I mean, and that's what I'm trying to explain to you. Like,
but I never said that. I never said that I wouldn't support them.
I didn't say. I just asked, generally speaking, name me one person that you would support that is not pro-Israel, and no one named anybody. They just said, I don't like this person because they get spotlight every once in a while.
I didn't say I didn't like that. Well, I never said that. I didn't like that person. I'm saying that no leader has emerged. That was the point I was making there. We see these Democrats every now and then come out and say something that gets some media play. Jasmine Crockett being one of them, Gavin Newsom being another. That's not a dig at them. I'm just saying they haven't.
One of them?
They haven't. Well, of course. Why wouldn't I?
So that was the answer to the question. Who are we going to push forward then? If the other ones aren't good enough.
Look, at this point, I'll vote for a turd over JD Vance or these other people, but that's beside the point. The point is that these Democrats aren't doing a motherfucking thing, and that's true. They're not doing anything.
And let me just say one more thing, because I'm going to have to drop here in a few minutes. It's not about who's going to emerge. What we need to start doing is, instead of looking at the negative, we need to have somebody come out and say, this is what we want to do. This is our agenda. This is what we want to do. This is what we want to do for the people. And whether they support Israel or not, it really doesn't matter at this point. What matters is if we don't win the next election, the Democratic Party is dead. Period.
How can you say even though? I mean, why is it that a foreign entity, a foreign nation gets our money that should be going into America? My tax money should help an American.
Yeah, to me, Israel is too dangerous for a lot of reasons. It has nothing to do with the money that we spend. Because, I mean, we spend billions of dollars on everything. It's stupid. But that's not even my problem. They're literally sucking us dry for everything. They bring us into wars. They're training our fucking ICE agents, and we see what that looks like. They're pushing surveillance. They've taken over our media. There's a lot of reasons why I don't support Israel, and it has nothing to do with the money I spend.
Yep. But we can take care of Israel if we get the right people in. And to get the right people in, we've got to quit being negative about our own party and start telling people this is what we want. I mean, 68% of the people want free health care.
And Democrats aren't going to bring that to you.
Yeah. But should they be talking about it? Should they be pushing that issue?
Yes.
Okay.
They need a populist message, but they're too. But the people running it, the people that are leading the party, are neoliberals. They're not progressives. And just like what we saw with Bernie Sanders, we did rally around Bernie Sanders. A lot of progressives rallied the fuck around Bernie Sanders, and then they did some fucking shenanigans that they always do, and pushed him out. And so the DNC doesn't work for you. And so I don't give a fuck about this party. I'll vote for a Republican that comes forward and says that they're going to do health care for all and that they don't support Israel. And, go down the fucking line of progressive things. If somebody's a Republican and says that they'll do that, I'll fucking vote for them. I don't see that happening, obviously, but
yeah.
But the point is the same.
I agree with you on that. I'm not disagreeing with you on that by any means. I'm just that was my whole thing, is that in comparison to what the Republican Party has been doing. Like, they have just been like, yep, this is our guy. We're going to support him. 34 felons or not, we don't care. We're going to go ahead and support him. And it seems like a lot of people that, you know, I've encountered, they are more picky about who on the Democratic Party they want to support instead of, you know, going balls to the wall with somebody. And yes, I agree. They pulled the rug out from underneath because this is all a game for them anyway. Like, big money is who's in control of all of this. This is why he's won, you know, he won the popular vote by a small margin, but he ultimately won the electoral college. And maybe getting rid of the electoral college is probably a good thing, because then that way the people actually get the vote and their vote actually counts. But I also think that we have to step back and we have to go for whoever's in our local community and in our state that is willing to support us in state, as well as help them as they move up and move forward. And of course, a lot of them are compromised by lobbyists, and a lot of them are compromised by, you know, Israel situation. Like, there are a lot of them that, and they were planted there. They were put there for a reason. And I said that earlier. Right. Nancy Pelosi, you know, she's you know, stacked the deck against us by choosing her friend. Maybe AOC wasn't the best choice, but that old man was too old to be there because he died within 6 months. You know what I'm saying? Like, so if they keep stacking the deck against us, then we need to start figuring out who's going to replace these people that are stacking the deck against the Democrats. Well, and that's what I was trying to say, is we need to stand behind somebody just as hard as the right stands behind Donald Trump. Maybe not for the same reason, but with the same amount of oomph behind somebody.
But if they put another neoliberal in the White House, it's over.
Yeah.
For the Democrats, it's over. Because if you don't get somebody that comes in there balls to the wall, universal health care, you know, all the things that we all want, that the majority of people, including Republicans, want, if they can't muster that after what Donald Trump is doing, and they're like, ooh, this is the best opportunity, because they're going to vote blue no matter who, because Trump is so bad, and all we have to do is run against. We're not like that. And then come in there and give everything to the corporations and fuck the people. And I'm sick of it. And if they do it again, it's going to be bad for Democrats. And you're just going to end up with another fucking Trump 4 years down the road or 8 years down the road, whatever the case is, because they'll just keep kicking that fucking can. And so whoever it is really does need to be a progressive. We cannot settle here. We just can't settle. We've been settling for years.
And it's about time we went progressive.
That's right.
I'm an old Democrat, but hey, I agree with the progressive movement. I do. We shouldn't be moving backwards. We shouldn't be standing still. We should be moving forward.
That's right.
And as long as we keep getting the Democrats we've got in office now, forward is not going to happen. There are 24 people, there are 24 congressmen in Congress that are over the age of 85.
Crazy.
And out of those 24, 14 are running for office.
That's nuts.
That's not going forward. Those
I
low.
believe there needs to be an age limit.
Back in my day.
Disability check. I think if you can get a retirement check from the government, you should not be working in the government. That should be the cutoff.
When I used to go to school in the horse and buggy days, and now I'm running the United States government.
That one dude is 94 years old. Like, he
fucking
was born
crazy.
in, what, the 20s?
This is wild.
And he's still up there. Like, yeah, there needs to be time limits on this, and they need to be aged out at 65, 70 at max.
These people, I wonder how many of them can't have a driver's license anymore. Because they're like, you know, those cars you see driving down the wrong way, you know, because they're like 90 fucking, they were having an episode. Crazy.
Before after his election where there was the
Thank you, Warrior.
Have a beautiful afternoon.
She went missing for 6 months, and then they found her. She was in a nursing home because she had dementia.
Yes, a lady from
Like,
Texas. What was her name? Karen or
And then
who?
they tried to spin it as if she was out on medical leave, like if she like broke her leg or had cancer or something. Like, oh, it's okay because she was out on medical leave. Like, I get giving people medical leave for cancer treatments and whatever, but
Kay Granger.
yeah, she was gone. She wasn't doing nobody no justice. She couldn't even tell who her kids were by then. And yeah, that stuff needs to come to a stop. Like, there's so much that needs to be changed, so much that needs to be happening. And yes, the Democrats need to stop playing nice. I do agree with that. I agree with that 100%. I didn't say that I didn't agree with that. And I agree with you on the fact that we need somebody really strong and really progressive to be in office to be able to run the show. But then when it comes to playing this game, it's a give and take. But the question is, what is given, what is taken, and how's that going to affect us? Because that's the game. That's the way the game should have been being played. That's the way it was being played until recently. Now it's about take. Like the Democrats were like, okay, we'll push the vote for healthcare to January as long as you make sure that people are getting paid now. Like, that shouldn't have been the deal. You know what I mean? Like, they should have started, and I get why they did it because so many people were suffering. But at the same time, that can't be like, I get it and I understand it. And I'm not like saying I don't. I do agree. I believe that whoever it is that is willing to take care of the American people first and deal with the rest of the world second should definitely be the choice. But unfortunately, they're giving us who they want us to have because the 1% is running it all. The Rothschilds, the Waltons. I mean, the Rothschilds have been around since the start of the Vatican. Like, it's time for old money to be put to sleep, like, let's be for real. Like, the 1%, the people we're borrowing money from are the people that are giving us our options and telling us we got to pick between the two. And that needs to change. And being able to lobby Republicans or Democrats and AIPAC and all that stuff needs to be ripped out. And we need to go back to old school way of doing politics where money was not involved, where people made their
I mean, it was always an old boys club, Yeah. I mean, it got so bad they had to allow us to vote for senators because they were scratching each other's back with the positions to be appointed. So, it may not have been like full on cash, but they were always about networking and I'll, do for me and I'll get you a position doing it. Yeah, it's, that's, I don't know that you can ever get rid of that.
It was Newt Gingrich that got us here with no compromise, right? Because that was his platform. No compromise. We will not compromise. This is what we want, period. And that's why we're here.
Yeah. Well, the worst thing for Republicans is for them to get what they want. Because, I mean, look.
It's crazy that nobody from what is it, Gen X has ever been president. Like, are we serious? Like, nobody from the Gen X era has ever been president. Like, everybody that's been president all the other presidents have been within a certain demographic of people, but Gen X is the last one that hasn't had a president in their age range yet.
Well, boomers haven't had a president.
We got to watch this clip real quick, guys. This is fucking... Oh my God, it is to watch it. Oh my God. I just read across that. That's pretty clever. I think that's in Denmark.
They don't like him across. Like, they be having parades with him and doing all types of stuff.
Oh my God.
It's something's definitely got to change. Something's got to give. And we have to be able to come together and stop fighting each other, and letting the right dictate, how we respond on the left, because there's a lot of that going on, especially among the people, and I get it. Like, people have their reasons for doing whatever for whatever reasons that they vote the way that they vote. And I can understand it to a degree. But at the same time, we have to start getting back to looking at humanity as a whole. And I think that's where we're losing it, because we're looking at this from an individual mindset and not humanity as a whole when it comes to being governed by a specific party. And that's where
I don't
things
think
went left.
I don't think the Democrats, even the ones that are crappy, I don't think they believe that. I think they believe in working for the people. And the things they want to put forward should be working for the people. They should be looking at, these are the high points that the people in America want to see happen. Those should be their 5 points for their platform. And then make the Republicans have to say why they don't want it. And that puts them on defense and puts us on offense.
Yeah, I mean, because that's how Trump got elected. He told people what they wanted to hear.
Exactly.
He's like, you guys are getting fucked. It's the immigrants. So I'm going to take care of that problem. We're going to get your jobs back. We're going to, raise pay. We're going to reduce prices. I mean, Democrats, all they have to do is really push the platforms that they, have claimed to be in favor of, like universal health care. Shit like that. I mean, you start actually doing that and people actually start seeing the change. Republicans may not come back into office for another fucking 20 years.
Exactly.
But
now is the time to start pushing forward.
Okay. And
people that need to be pushed forward, because the primaries are coming and this is our chance to try and take back the House and the Senate, which I'm telling you now, I don't know how well that's going to work, because if he cheated in Pennsylvania and then he changed the mail, that things don't get post dated as soon as it hits the mail office. It only gets dated when it goes through processing, which could delay a day or two. Like he's messing with the postal system. So now is the time to start pushing forward who you think is better for the House and the Senate on the Democratic side, so that hopefully we can take back majority, at least at this point, and try to go ahead and stop whatever it is they're trying to do. And I think they're fearful of that, because they already stood up there and said that if they don't get the House and the Senate, they're going to jail. They know they're going to jail, and we need to definitely make sure that we put in the Democrats that are going to make sure that they go to jail. And that is the point of everything.
Well, that's probably why he's going to use the Insurrection Act coming into the midterms for sure, just to scare the fuck out of people. Just to scare the fuck out of people. Well, it doesn't, but it'll scare people from going outside and going to the polling places. If you put a bunch of military people around all the polling places, you think a lot of people that have brown skin and have accents, even though they're U.S. citizens, you think they're going to want to come out and get arrested? I mean, all you have to do is start arresting them. Brown skin, you got an accent, you got to come with us. Yeah, and then, we only detained you for a day or two. That's what he'll do. He doesn't even need to, do AI stuff.
You better take it into the post office and ask for it to be dated the moment you get there, and don't wait for the mail system to date it when it gets to processing. If you're using a mail-in ballot, and if you're gonna, the fight is not everybody can fight the same way, and I understand that, but we all can fight some way, somehow. And we all got to fight in the best way that we can fight. And it might not look the same for everybody, but not doing it at all on no part is going to be more of a hindrance than a help. And giving up is not the answer. And I get it. Like, I still got to go to work. I still got to go do whatever I got to do today. And somebody was like, today's the day where we're not going to do anything. We're not going to spend. We're not going to do this. We're not going to go to work. Well, unfortunately, I still have to go to work because I still have a house to maintain. I don't have a savings account where I can afford, to lose my job. But I participate in other ways. And I think that's what we all need to do, is find out where we can participate and do our best. If that means pushing candidates and supporting candidates, by all means, find your spot and go with it. So that way people are educated and know what it is that they can do and how to go about doing it in the safest way possible. And sometimes it might not be safe. Sometimes we're going to have to fight, and some people are going to be a martyr for the cause.
What's your point? I mean, I understand, like, this is, I don't think...
That was my whole point to everybody that was listening. Like, if you feel like there's nothing you can do, I'm sure there's something you could do, and you should try and do it instead of just sitting back and letting everything just implode on us, and push forward the people that you think would be best to support the country as a whole.
So just same thing everybody else is doing. You go to work, you buy the things you need, you pay your rent, you pay your credit cards.
I mean, if that's all you can do,
you then,
that's all you can do.
I mean, what else can people do?
Well, I said, like, help push out candidates that would be better.
I think we're beyond that though, Lonnie.
And
yes,
I don't think that everybody
that.
can just give up 100% of everything that they have, is what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that what little bit
they're about to be forced to give it up.
Yeah, you are, and we have to figure out a way to fight back that works for us. Some things are not going to be as easy as others, but some people can afford to do more than others. And I don't think just giving up and throwing in the towel is the option.
Who's doing that?
I don't know who's doing that. I'm just speaking generally to the audience,
Wow.
Yeah. I guess I just don't understand, like, because everybody has a house they have to pay for unless they're living with somebody else.
Yeah, I know.
If they're living with somebody else, that means they're already not working, possibly.
Right. But I mean, I was just saying, like, generally speaking, like, we still have to do what we have to do, right? Like, I'm not trying to shame anybody for having to go to work still. And I'm not saying I'm not contributing because I have to go to work. I was just making it a generalized statement that, we all have to do these things, but we can also find ways to help too. We can also find ways to support as well. Support doesn't have to be huge. Support doesn't mean flying to Minneapolis and help tote the line. That's not necessarily what it always has to be. Support could be, something smaller in your local community as well, where that ICE may be, and making sure that you do it to the letter of the law. That's all I was stating. Like, I wasn't, trying to shame anybody. I was just trying to give a words of encouragement for everybody to go out and help push.
I mean, I get that, but from you, I've heard, we can't criticize the Democrats. We've got to vote for somebody. Don't, do purity testing. Because you have a house, you still got to pay rent. So the economic boycott is not going to be a thing. So basically, it's just business as usual. Because this is what Americans have always done. They've always gone to work. They've paid the bills. They have supported candidates. Well, forgive me, but I believe that you were criticizing.
No, what I was saying was, instead of just having no solution, give a solution on who we should be looking at, like who we should be trying to
right, and then you
support.
Complain that every time that people turn around, they get list reasons why this person they don't like. And it seemed to me that you were complaining about that.
Out of this, we're going to have to support somebody that we're all not going to agree with.
We're going to have to support more than one somebody. We're going to have to support the entire Congress. I mean, that right now it has nothing to do with the president. It has to do with flipping either house is what we need to do. And that's what we should be looking at. We shouldn't be looking at who's going to come out of this. Somebody will show up and somebody will be the leader sometime. But right now, we need a platform. We need to back Democrats all the way down the board, and that at least will stop the bleeding.
Yeah,
that will stop bills like the big beautiful bill that can be stopped.
Yeah, and Jules says the people can't pick this time. Jules, do you mean like vote for the Democrat no matter who it is? Because that's how I felt last time, and Donald Trump got elected. At this point, like I don't know. I think it's too late for that. You know what I mean? I think by the time we go around to vote for a president, or even in the midterms, like shit's gone so bad that if you're just settling for whoever is thrown in front of you by the corporatists, because that's who will pick that candidate, it'll just be, you know, a light version of, I mean, that's my point. That's what I'm saying. Like, you know, if Democrats know that you're just going to vote for them no matter what because they have a D beside their name, you know, why would they need to change anything, you know?
That's why I was asking, like, who is somebody that you think would be a good choice? So we can, like, so people will, we can be like, okay, let's look into this person, because what's ultimately going to happen is also what's going to happen, not ultimately, also what's going to happen is there are going to be flippers or whatever you want to call them, where somebody did it recently. They went in on a Democratic ticket, and then as soon as they got in, they jumped over to Republican. And that's something that we have to be mindful about too. And that's why I was asking, like, who are these people that we as a community can agree on and support and help get them where they need to go? That was my ultimate thing. Like, and because if the options we have now are not good enough, then who is going to be good enough is my ultimate question. Like, who is it that we should be paying attention to? Who is it that we should be trying to support and back if the options that we have are not good enough? Because
well, we still have years to go.
Pick,
so
we have
like
to pick because of the House and the Senate now.
Well, sure, but that's going to be different for everybody. That person is going to be different for everybody in the midterms. But when you're talking about a singular person, to me, you're talking about the president. And we still got several years to go. So I don't know who's going to emerge at that point.
Sooner than later.
I don't think so. I think that's a bad idea.
Donald Trump campaigned his whole 4 years the first time, in the meantime, in between time. And so we need somebody that we can get out and get on the ball sooner than later. That's my opinion. So people like sort of like how he did it, but not exactly like he did it, like not toting lies.
Yeah, but Donald Trump was previously president.
Right. But even before he was president, he was sort of campaigning the first time. When
he went down the golden elevator, which was, you know, about a similar time as a new candidate to the presidential race was. It wasn't like years in advance he was in his first term.
But it wouldn't hurt. It wouldn't hurt.
I'm just saying, like, there are any number of people, like Mom Donnie, for example. Is he even old enough? I don't know how old he is to run. I mean, maybe him, maybe somebody else. Somebody else may come along in 2 years, and if you put all your eggs into this, one basket, and you got somebody that's better, then what? I don't know. I personally, I don't think we should pick a candidate this far out. That's just my thought. But, I could be wrong, but I think it's, or if you're going to do that,
we start making noise about people. That's all I'm saying. Like,
do one. Well, sure. I mean, we can toss up ideas. Who would you like to see
run for president?
Yeah.
I think I would probably go with probably like Jasmine Crockett. I'd probably go with her. But I know she's not going to go that far because she doesn't want to go that far. But I haven't thought about the presidency. I'm gonna be honest. Like, I have to a degree of somebody else not being president, but I also like to get rid of him. But I don't want to vote because I don't like him. I want to vote because I do like whoever I'm choosing. That's what I like, and I think that's what happened with him. A lot of people voted because they didn't like Kamala, not because they liked Trump. That's my opinion. So that's something that I got to go do research on. I'm not going to hold you and tell you that I have that answer off the top of my head. But I was just, looking for people that could potentially be in the running, make noise about and get their name out there, because I think that's ultimately another reason why Trump got so much familiarity because people were seeing him everywhere they turned. People were talking about him every room they went into, even though they were saying negativity. His name was being told, and so it was being spoken. And I think that's what we need to start doing, is getting people that are on the Democratic side, or even as an independent, we need to get their names into rooms and conversations to be had and to be started. So that way, when it does come up, those people have been a household name by the time that happens. Like Trump was a household name for years before he even came down the Golden Escalator. But
So
that's just my opinion.
here's Jasmine Crockett, for the record, out there simping for Israel. So, and sadly, this is true in with a lot of these people that you wouldn't necessarily expect. She's out there celebrating the independence and whatever of Israel. So but again, you've been up here, and it feels as if you're being critical of people who aren't picking a candidate and talking about that candidate. Yet you said that you hadn't even thought about it really. So I'm not sure I understand.
I wasn't being critical. I was asking people to do critical thinking. That's what I was asking for. Like, who is someone's, like Dewey said, we can pick apart everybody on the Democratic side until we're blue in the face. And who does that leave us with? And everybody's entitled to their opinion on why they don't like somebody. If you don't like whoever because they support Israel, you have that right. You're not going to choose that person. Cool. If you don't like this person because of whatever other reason that you have for not liking that person, that's fine. But my ultimate point was to say that if the right stands behind Donald Trump knowing all the stuff he's done and they're okay with it, then where is our candidate that we can stand behind no matter what they've done and be okay with it if it's going to be for the greater good of humanity? That's what I was ultimately trying to say.
Okay, so me personally, I live in a very blue state, but I live in a very red county. My congressman is LaHood, and he's a piece of crap. He won't even have open meetings. He used phone calls the last time he had one of those, and he used phone calls. And no matter what they do is you'd say, this is a question I have for him, and if it wasn't what they wanted to hear, your question didn't get there.
Should call him right now. Call his office right now. Be like, hey, I've got a constituent here. Do it live on the show. I got a constituent here. Says you've been ignoring him.
Yeah, I'm with that. Hey, patch it through. You shouldn't have said that, bro. Patch it through.
What's up, Eagle?
I'm sorry. I have to drop, but thanks for having me up, man.
Thanks, Dewey. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, have a good one. Eagle.
You too.
Yeah, Eagle, did you want to jump in there and welcome on the panel?
Thank you. Yeah, Lonnie, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm all right. I ain't seen you in forever, so it seems like. Yeah.
Unfortunately, this is the only place I go live because even though it sounds like me and Nick are in disagreement right now, I kind of like his platform and what he's doing and the tough conversations that he's having, especially with me right now, because he's helping me think, and I appreciate him for that. And I know he doesn't mean any harm by it. So, but I don't go live anywhere else because everywhere else seems to be way worse than what this might look like from the outside looking in.
Shit's going crazy, y'all.
Nothing wrong. It done way crazy. I'm sitting here looking at some stuff about this administration. The people that are being protected from accountability is the new norm. It is. The very first thing that happened when he went in is he alleviated all of the things that holds people accountable, and ripped down every guardrail that he could get his hands on. So then he installed loyalists to all of the top positions of enforcement. So there's nowhere for the public to go to except for to the states, and which only leads to going to court.
Right.
Which is so far been in his favor. I'm curious to see what the tariff situation is going to look like. I hope they shack him, and he's got to make that refund.
That would be funny. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he'll declare himself, Lord Dictator of the U.S. and just be like, I'm just not going to listen to
him. Man, I wonder what that would look like, But and then even off of some more of that, it's just one immoral act after the next. It is. The most disgustingest part so far has been the comment that was made after Ross executed that woman.
The fucking bitch, when he said fucking bitch.
Man, listen here. That right there is something that cuts into my sleep right there.
That's crazy. Dude's a fucking psychopath. Yeah.
With cloaked in executive immunity. Is he not?
Well, on the federal level, sure.
Yeah, sure is.
I mean, there are ways to break through that, but the Trump administration won't. It's not to say a future administration won't, but on a state level, he has no immunity. So, but they're blocking them, and now they're investigating the wife. From what I hear, going after the wife for,
what happened?
I guess for, being mean to a man. Because if you're a woman in the United States, you're not allowed to talk back, right? I mean, Jesus.
Heaven forbid that.
I'm going to look it up because I've seen reporting that they were going to do it, but I'm not sure if they actually went through with it. Let's see. Justice Department not investigating. Okay. So they're saying they are not going to investigate. Oh, well, no, never mind. That's for the officer himself. Yeah, because here, New York Times reported this. I'll pull it up on the screen here. Son of a bitch. Yeah, 6 prosecutors quit over push to investigate ICE shooting victim's widow. Like, the audacity of this Justice Department to do that is wild. Kill someone's spouse and then...
Yeah, and then blame them.
Right.
It's become, listen, that is a norm that is becoming normalized, and that right there is dangerous. That's different then. That's a shift. That's a shift in group psychology is what that is.
Blame the victim.
It's one of those nerves inside of that when the culture starts to shift like that. When tyranny is admired.
And I wonder if they do that to establish dominance with everybody. Because it's so egregious to do that, to go after her wife. In that, if they're willing to do that, they're willing to do anything. Maybe that's the point, is just to send a message to people. I don't know. But I don't know on what basis they would investigate the wife, but damn. That's crazy. Yep, Miss Chaos.
Suffering is becoming the new policy.
Yeah, cruelty is the point.
It is.
Yeah, that's the new policy of the day, the unwritten policy of the day.
This is wild, but so Lonnie, I think you're in agreement with me that Trump is likely a Russian asset. Would you say?
Oh yeah, I definitely agree.
Definitely.
He's been compromised.
I'm definitely with you on that. You know what? Let me share something with you, if you would. I went through a divorce. I was married to a lady. She was Ashkenazi Jew, and her brother was a high-powered attorney over on the East Coast. Six-figure guy. He pulled my coattail one day. He said, "Jay," first time he ever called me by my street name. Let me tell you something. He stopped. We were in front of the old man's house doing some yard work. He said, "Let me tell you something." He said, you better not, this is before anything exploded with Trump, anything. He said, "I'm gonna tell you something." He said, "Don't you tell nobody." He said, "But Trump has been selling stuff over Russia." Mind you, this wasn't no shabby guy. This wasn't no weirdo. Yeah. Mm-hmm. He told me that, what?
That he was selling what?
A year before it all took off. That he was selling information over to Russia.
Now,
been doing that.
Was this after
It ain't nothing
his?
new.
Was this after his first term?
You see how he disrespected his wife? Yeah, you see how he disrespected his wife? See what Vladimir did to him? Trump did something.
With the images that he put
Vladimir
out.
Plastered he plastered his wife all over the world and basically said, "What you gonna do about it?"
She's his handler. She's keeping an eye on him.
You gonna do nothing
for them. That's my opinion about the situation. She's the handler. She's in the pocket too.
She's his Erica Kirk.
Yeah,
How
and
y'all-
so
how
was
y'all
Ivanka.
doing?
Ivanka was too.
How y'all doing?
Hold on, real good. Eagle, I gotta mute you, buddy. That's a lot of background noise. Sounds like you're in the middle of a tornado in Oklahoma.
In Enid or Dover?
No, I'm trying to save the world.
He's trying to say, good Lord, I thought I was about to get sucked up into the eye. Anyway,
as long as you don't knock down Brahms, I'm good.
I love Brahms. If you don't know, you don't know, but Brahms is delicious. Lonnie,
Fort Steele taught me about Brahms.
Yeah, I love Brahms. You get a bag of, you used to be able to get a bag of 5 burgers for like $5.55. It's probably like $10.55 now. But Lonnie,
Let me tell you something. With that Alpha battery, the moment that I got off post and it wasn't HBL and it wasn't like Family Day, I went straight to Brahms. I got 5 chili cheeseburgers and I got a pint of ice cream.
Yeah, Brahms is, if you ever get a chance, their burgers are just, it's like real meat and shit. It's like real food. It's fast food, but I don't know. It tastes real to me. Anyway, I think Lonnie was saying something. Were you saying something, Lonnie? There was a lot of background noise.
I was saying, yes, I'm in agreement with you that he is compromised by Russia. And I was also saying that, he's been since he married Ivanka or Ivana, whatever his first wife's name is, that's over on that golf course in Jersey.
Are you sure it wasn't the plethora of business deals like with Deutsche Bank? Are you sure it wasn't like all of the business deals that he did with foreign conglomerates that were literally there? Who understood his personality? I'm not saying that you're wrong.
Listen, you didn't let me finish. That's the problem. See, because what I was saying was ever since he's been outed or been suspected of being compromised by them. And yes, I agree. He was doing a lot of shady things with Russia. They were he's been compromised for a while. And to me, this is not new news that, they set a sting operation up and gave him false intel and he reported it back to Russia. And so they ultimately verified the information that they had, that he or his administration at best is what they're claiming is compromised, So yes, this plays into what he is doing right now and the reasoning why he wants to take over the world, because it's in part to help his friend, because he owes them more than we can imagine. This is why the money from the Venezuela oil that if he hasn't gained already, that he will gain, will be hidden in foreign banks so that no one can get a hold of it, because he owes that money back to them.
They're talking about those banks. Lonnie, they're talking about those banks right now. They're talking about the money is being transferred around now.
Yeah, and Qatari
I ran
banks.
across that earlier.
Yeah, he put them in Qatari banks.
But it's very interesting how he is preaching everyone else endure, which is basically suffering. I mean, I'm not gonna get around that, man. I cannot get around that. You have Jan 6ers, guys that ran up in the Capitol with the Confederate battle flag, throwing a frat party. People come up unalived. You sat back and you praised it. They brought a noose to the Capitol for Mike Pence. You gave them pardons. And now some of them are involved in the roundup. Are you serious?
Well, Jake Lang was a J6er and he was just in Minnesota and they just tore him a new one.
I'm just saying, stop and think about that for one moment. Are you for real?
Crazy.
You sitting here allowing that to man, something's wrong with this nation, bro. Something is wrong with the people in this nation, man. They need
I was
to get
saying
up.
that earlier.
I don't know what they sitting around waiting for. Because the next thing they're gonna be knocking on the door talking about you, how many you got in there, your rations is coming.
Yeah.
Well, these people will cut off their nose to spite their face as long as the people that they think are taking from them are no longer receiving anything that they don't get. That's how these people think. Right?
That's his strongest wedge. That's his strongest wedge right there.
Right. They were okay with the SNAP benefits being cut off because they thought undocumented people had access to it. And the reality is that majority of them do not. Now, I'm not going to say none of them do, because there is a small caveat in the FEMA Act that states that they can have a certain amount as refugee status, but they have to meet those requirements to gain that. But that's a small percentage of funds for a important reason. It's not just given out all willy-nilly, and they're not exploiting it, because while people do exploit the SNAP benefits, Brett Favre in Mississippi, the people that they think are exploiting it are the people that are not exploiting it to the degree that they assume. Because Brett Favre just took all that money out of Mississippi SNAP benefits in the last couple of years, right? So they've been fed this narrative that feeds an ego that they've been raised upon their whole life. And me and Lib were talking about this earlier, where I think it is what did I say? It's passed down generationally, but their predisposition to act this way. It's not necessarily like I got my blue eyes from my dad and I got my ugly feet from my mom type of pass down, but it's similar to, this is the environment they were raised in. So this is what they think is the new normal. So this is how they have to act. And it's not going to end. It's never going to stop, even if Trump is gone, even if we do get rid of this whole administration. The problem is that the Pandora's box has been opened. and it's going to take a long time to halfway close it, because it's never going to fully close, because it never fully went anywhere to begin with. So this is where we are, and it's how do we make things better for humanity as a whole now that he's destroying the United States to a point where there will there's never going no back, but to a point where it's got to change for the greater good of humanity. So.
Well, don't rely on Democrats. We just had one in New Jersey just vetoed an anti-ICE bill. You know, she said she vetoed it to save immigrants. Right.
Yeah.
I'm just.
I know that. I'm not naive to that. There are Democrats that aren't the best. They are definitely some bad apples in the bunch, and that's what I was trying to get at.
Can you pull the?
Do what?
So we
who can we put?
Can see what made him do that.
Do what?
So we can see what's inside of that bill.
It was for New Jersey, and she doesn't want to. She doesn't want the state to get sued. That's what she said. Unintentionally undermine protections for New Jersey's immigrant communities. That's what she claimed. The outgoing governor's action comes amid intense scrutiny on immigration and customs following an agent's fatal shooting of a woman in Minnesota. New Jersey lawmakers cited that shooting in hearings as one of the reasons to pass the bill in a package of pro-immigration legislation. The Garden State currently has a nearly identical policy through a state directive, although progressives wanted Murphy to codify it into law to ensure it would continue permanently. Governor-elect Mickey Sherrill has said she would continue the practice which began under the Murphy administration, although she had suggested she would tweak it to help federal agents if they are in real danger. Dubbed the Immigrant Trust Directive, has been the subject of litigation but has been upheld in federal court, including by a Trump-appointed judge. In a statement, Murphy said the vetoed bill contains two provisions that could undermine its standing in court, removing an exception that allowed state authorities to notify federal authorities of an inmate's release if they are subject to a final order of deportation signed by a federal judge, and new restrictions on state and local law enforcement funding used to assist federal immigration enforcement. Now, the first part of that, I agree with. Like, prison should be notifying the federal government if an illegal is being released. That seems ridiculous to me to not do that. You know, I like sanctuary city, sure, but a fucking prison. You're going to release a criminal immigrant into the community? Like, come on. That's weird. But the other part is just funding to assist. And it's already part of their rules anyway. This would have just codified it into state law, and she said no.
Yeah, because she, complying in advance. Because
that's right.
Don't get me wrong. I already know that there are compromised Democrats as well, and that was what I was trying to get at earlier by saying, well, then if not that, then who? You know what I mean? Like that was my question. If not them, then who? Because I don't disagree. I'm not saying that I disagree that we should just go Democrat to go Democrat. Like, we shouldn't have win Obama just because he was a man of color. Like, we should have voted for Obama because he has a reason to be. He was the best of the choices that we had. I'm not saying he didn't do anything wrong, because we know he did, because he's part of the system. Like, he's made choices and done things that were not for the greater good of humanity. But at the same time, we got Donald Trump in retaliation of that too. So, we are again, and it's even worse because of the fact that they want to take us back to a time where the rich versus the poor, right? It's not as much black and white as it may look, in my opinion. It's more or less rich versus poor. Like, they want to wipe out the middle class. Like, everybody's either rich or everybody's either poor. And then like I said, we'll have we'll have employee housing, and we'll have monthly rations and monthly this, you know what I mean? Like, we'll be sort of like North Korea in a sense, I think that's the way they're trying to go. They're trying to put women back into the kitchen and out of the workforce and out of the schools. And, they want to control. The rich white people want to control everybody that is not rich. And if you're not white, then you will go back to your black job, which was tending to the farms. You know, like, I think that is their ultimate agenda, while also controlling the whole Northern America hemisphere. That's just my opinion on it all. And I think we need to be mindful on who we're choosing, and who is going to get us further out of this hole than we are in, because nothing is ever going to go back to the way it was, and nothing's ever going to not be what it is. We're not going to get rid of white supremacy. We're not going to get rid of racist people. We're just not going to get rid of it. But we got to make a way so that everybody can live in harmony together.
Well, yeah, we're going backwards, that's for sure. And none of this is good. And, you know, like that earlier person said, maybe all of this is probably for the betterment of the globe, because the United States has been running the globe for too long. And, you know, this imperialism that we bring to everybody, I don't know, it's got to stop. You know, it's just racism and fucking hatred and supremacy and, you know, insert bad thing here. But I don't know if China will be that way when they become the superpower. But, you know, that's where all roads lead to the U.S. dominance lost in the world. So
And
I
he
guess.
laid it out for him.
Yeah, well.
You know, he pretty much handed it over. I mean, we've been handing it over to China for a long time, because we only own intellectual properties and they own the manufacturing of said properties. So,
Yeah.
you know, they've just figured out a way to make it work for them, and now they're using it to their advantage. You know, I mean, they got EVs going to Canada, you know, like, that are illegal in the U.S. Those EVs will never come here.
And see, that's good for Canadian businesses, because they now have access to cheap vehicles. So any fleets that their companies need, they can get cheap electric vehicles for their fleets. The United States doesn't have that. You know, an electric truck in this country is outrageously expensive, but you can get one from China for fucking almost nothing. You know,
I think I seen somebody on TikTok say, like, 2026 EV over there was like $15K US.
Yeah.
And that, you know what I mean? Like,
right. Imagine the amount of money that a company could save, you know, because you don't have to pay for like oil changes and shit. You know, there's no gas that you have to put in there. It's largely cheaper to run the vehicle. And if the fucking upfront cost is like nothing, it would save companies a lot of money. But, you know, all right, it's a free market, because if we had like a free market, you'd be able to get anything from anywhere without restriction. You know, I don't know if that's a great thing or not. I mean, you know, tariffs have been there to protect things that you create, but the U.S., you know, exported that out to cheap labor, and we lost that. Thank you, Bill. Appreciate that. You know, it didn't start with him, but he certainly escalated it.
Tariffs, understandable when it was used in a more proper manner. I'll say proper and not correct, because none of it was used correctly, but to keep, you know, local business, so to speak, with the upper hand over foreign business, I get it in that aspect. But this blanketed with the fact that something as small as a bolt on your Ford, you know, is imported, you know, like your car manufacturing, parts of your car come in and out of the country between Canada and Mexico, like, what, 20 times before the vehicle's finally finished. Like, so this is why the price of things here are going up, because of the tariffs of import and export. And like, he's annexing us out of the rest of the world by doing these blanketed tariffs, because I guess he thought they were going to bend a knee and grovel. And they're like, well, we'll just go over here and get our soybeans from Mexico, or we'll give our cars to Canada, or, you know, like.
Yeah, because there are other markets, you know. I mean, it'll hurt. If China were to cut ties with us, it would hurt their economy for sure. But it's not going to collapse their country. That's for sure. I mean, it would collapse the United States country, though. I mean, hell, we'd have to start rebuilding like clothing manufacturing. I mean, there's all kinds of shit that we'd have to, and it would take us a long time to get there.
Well, JD said in the beginning, it's only going to hurt for a little while, and then we'll be fine.
That's what women have been hearing, but from men for how long now?
Did you see the video I posted in the group chat?
No.
I think I posted it. I don't know if it was last night or this morning. I think it was last night, where Trump stood at a podium and was like, "We will stop men from taking trophies from women." And then it flashed over to him taking that medal.
Yes. Oh my God, I know. That's fucking funny. That's good shit. Well, with that, guys, it is 1, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. Maybe I won't be shadow banned tomorrow. We'll see. Maybe we can get some opposition up here. Who knows? But TikTok in a couple of days probably ain't going to be around anyway. So if you don't see me, you can come over on YouTube. I'll just start doing it over there if I have to. So with that,
thanks for the conversation.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
I appreciate it.
No, thank you.
No hard feelings. No love lost.
Yeah, no hard feelings at all. Anyway, but yeah, Eagle, and thank you for coming up. I appreciate it. I'm glad you made it out of the tornado.
Good day, and we'll see you around.
All right, guys, thank you all so much for the support, and we'll see you guys tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Central Time. Be there or be square. We'll catch you next time.
Hey, check it out.
What? Oh,
hey, before you run out of here, right?
What's up?
You dead? You going? Hey, I got Brain Candy is official. The other Brain Candy that's online right now with this logo right here, that's actually official. I just got it. I need to get some more people in there. What do I need? Like 100 so I can start going live on it.
I don't know anything about Brain Candy.
Yeah, that's me. That's my logo.
Is that something that you're selling?
Appreciate the time. No. That's my other page. I'm not selling
I
anything.
see.
I
got. Okay. I got you. Yeah.
Not yet.
Gotcha.
I just need some more traffic to come through it so it can get up, so I can start going live on my other page, so I can get it moving a little bit. That's all.
Yeah. Good luck, man. I mean, hell, I'm down to 29 people. All last week I had 150 plus. I come back in today, and it's like I don't think I broke 65 today. Crazy. TikTok is weird.
How much time can you dedicate to it? Because if we dedicate certain times at certain times, we get a better response.
Well, I go live Tuesday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Of course, that doesn't reflect all the time it takes me to get videos and all that stuff together, but still. Either way, I'm gonna jet
6 hours.
Yeah, and I'm gonna I'll be back tomorrow morning. All right, take it easy. Y'all have a good one. Peace.